It is the night. Cooper Flagg, Dallas Mavericks, the #1 pick. We find out officially who it is coming up on the DLLS Mavs Draft Day Live show. Here we go. Welcome to the DLLS Mavs Draft Day Live show presented by Empire Today. DLLS Mavs 2025 NBA Draft coverage is powered by Empire Today. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DLLS listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DLLS. Yes, you heard right, a $350 discount with code DLLS. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire Today/DLLS for full details. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the 2025 NBA Draft. Woo! We, of course, are your favorite guys covering your favorite team. DLLS Mavs. I'm your host, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Corella. Yes, our national NBA insider, Mark Stein, is out of the dungeon live in studio.
Good to see you, Bobby.
In the DLLS Sports Studios.
Where's my Mando?
Intrepid Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato joining us here
Mark Stein in studio.
That's right.
I am in the Stein seat.
How you feel? You feel a little more powerful over there? You feel
I
a
am
little more...
feeling like at some point I will be going to the Mavericks facility. There's going to be a Nico Harrison press conference. In all likelihood, right after the first round ends. So I took the exit seat.
Okay.
The exit row, the escape pod. If anything, I can just kind of blast on out of here as needed.
Well, as you can see in the background behind our guy, Tim Cato, the 1.8% chance the Mavericks had to win the NBA draft lottery, they secured it. It has been 144 days since that fateful day on February 1st. But boys and girls, we have made it to draft night in New York City, where presumably Cooper Flagg will be the #1 overall pick for your Dallas Mavericks. We will have reaction.
Presumably.
Hey, that's right.
Do you know something we don't?
Don't scare me, Kevin.
It's not official. It's not official until he puts on that hat coming up at the top of the hour.
Kevin, not even official then, if that's what we're going for. Luka Doncic had an Atlanta Hawks hat on his head.
My God.
Uh-oh. Sourcing call.
Tonight is not the night for your computer to explode.
Alert. Sourcing call. Computer shattering. What's happening? We really appreciate all of you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs show. Shout out to all of you hanging out with us. We'll be here for the next 3 hours with you throughout the night, covering every pick. Of course, the most important one being with your Dallas Mavericks, Bobby Corella. How are we feeling on this wonderful Wednesday night in the DLLS Sports Studio?
I'm really excited to be here on this stream. I love draft night. It is one of my favorite nights of the year in the NBA and in any sport. These really long streams and long shows are always exciting. You have to be ready for whatever comes, including tech malfunctions that Mark Stein is working through. But I do want to shout out one of our diehards, Sarah. She made some flag bracelets for all of us. All four of us are rocking them tonight. I gave GM Ben his as well. And I believe Sarah mailed some to other diehards too. So we're all in this together. Tanner's got one on too.
Got one.
Tonight is a really exciting night for the Mavs fans in particular because, listen, I will be the first person to tell you that the last 6 months have sucked. It's been a really,
particularly the last 144 days.
Yeah, it's been a really tough 2025 for Mavs fans. No matter how you feel about the Luka trade, everything that happened after that was awful. Anthony Davis got hurt. Kyrie got hurt. Daniel Gafford got hurt. Derek Lively got hurt. The rest, PJ Washington got hurt. The team failed to make the top 6. They got bounced from the plan. And, you know, they faced a 98.2% chance of not getting Cooper Flagg on lottery night. But, you know, Lady Luck smiled upon them. Fortune smiled upon them. And here we are. For the first time since 1981, the Mavs are about to make the number 1 pick in the draft, and they're going to get a guy that we all agree is really, really stinking good and will be from day one, and is potentially going to be one of those generational kind of players. And so, as excited as I am for what could be in the next, hopefully 15 to 20 years of Cooper Flagg, I am just as excited that something really, really good happened for Mavs fans, because again, no matter how you feel about the trade, no matter how you feel about Nico, no matter how you feel about any of this stuff, we all deserve something to feel excited about, and this is certainly one of those things.
It's a fascinating situation for Dallas to be in. Honestly, what stands out most to me is how fascinating this situation is for Cooper Flagg. He's the number one pick. He's a generational prospect. There's been a lot of number one picks. Very, 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 very few of them go to a team that was in the finals 2 years ago. Very few of them get a chance to immediately step into a team that is trying to win, that is trying to compete, and that feels like not just compete, not just win, but win in the postseason, make the postseason, make deep playoff runs. That is Dallas's expectation. It's not an expectation that a lot of first-round picks get. And then you think about who Cooper is. You think about his story as a player, as a prospect. Two collegiate basketball playing parents. He was the best player in Maine, voted the player of the year his freshman year. And that was the moment that him and his family decided he's too good for Maine. Let's go down to Florida. Let's go to Montverde. And let's keep elevating. Let's keep rising. Cooper said, he always wanted to be able to play against better competition. And people, his mother would say, and this was a quote from Cooper yesterday at a pre-draft press conference.
In fact, we have that quote, actually.
Yeah, if we can play it, but yeah.
Yeah, we do have that. In fact, let's hear from Cooper Flagg referencing that particular quote that Tim Cato had. Here is Cooper Flagg in his own words.
A quote my mom likes to say a lot, if you're the best player in the gym, then you need to find a new gym. So for me, it was about thinking about what I had left to do in high school and how much that would push me to become a better player.
So yeah, that showed up in him literally leaving his home state where he's lived his entire life because Maine wasn't offering enough challenge for him. When drafted, he will be the third, or when he plays his first game, he's going to be the third NBA player from Maine. And there wasn't the level of competition that he wanted to rise to. You can also see that after his sophomore year, he reclassifies. He goes from the class of 26 to the class of 25. That's why Dallas has a chance to draft him, because he wanted to get to college earlier. He wanted to get to the NBA earlier. This is a kid who's not going to turn 19 until December. When he got invited to the Team USA Select Camp, and in an informal straw poll, with the athletic, some athletic reporters who were out there, asked the superstars on actual Team USA, hey, which player was most impressive from the select team that you guys scrimmaged against? They said Cooper Flagg. So this is a guy who has always chased higher and higher levels of competition. This is a guy who has thrived and achieved so much. He has continued to improve at every level. And now he gets to come into a situation that is not typical of number one picks. It's a situation that is looking at him to try to win right now. They want him to fit into a winning team. It's just really unique. It's really fascinating. For this all to come from 1.8% odds, it's a lot of fun, if you ask me.
It is a lot of fun. And Tanner, we're going to ask our resident fashion expert, Mark Stein, to rate the drip of Cooper Flagg. So, Mark, I need you to take a look at the screen here.
Can I actually?
He's got some stuff going on.
Oh, he's got stuff going on. He's busy. Okay.
No, my computer is.
Oh, wow. I love this. I love him fixing his computer on live screen right now. So I'll ask Bobby Crillo. Rate the drip of Cooper Flagg.
I have no opinion about fashion. I think if he's going to grow out the mustache, it needs to grow a little thicker. He is very young. It could take time. For me, it took till I was probably 23 or 24 for a mustache to actually stick. But I have gone on record to say that chin beard I think is a really good look for him. So I'm excited for that and what the future could hold for young Coop.
I like the suit.
I like the loafers. I don't like the socks with the loafers.
Oh, you weren't feeling the socks? Okay. All right.
I don't like, if you're wearing loafers, commit to it. You don't need socks with that.
Oh, you're a no sock with the loafer?
With loafers, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the now I will say the loafers don't really match the three-piece. So I do think that there's a little bit of conflict going on here. If I was advising him, I probably would have just gone with that look. I probably would have gone wingtips, Oxfords.
Oh,
but
wingtips, okay.
Maybe some paraboot.
Look at you with the fashion sense. I didn't know you had real strong takes.
I really regret you asking that question, Kevin Gray.
Why?
Hey, shout out to our friends at Happiest Hour for getting us right with this pregame meal. I was a hungry, cranky mess for the hour or so leading up to this broadcast.
Oh, he was being so mean to me.
And they got us right. Oh, my God. They got us wings. They got burgers. We got chicken Caesar wraps. We got jalapeno poppers. We got 2 giant pretzels and so many dips and sauces. This barbecue chicken flatbread nearly brought me to tears. So thank you to Happiest Hour. I'm feeling amazing. If you guys see us stuffing our faces at any point during the stream, just know it is from our friends at Happiest Hour.
We've got a tall crew here.
Another thing I want to mention off the top, this is basically a watch-along. We're not showing the draft. So if you do want to watch the draft, pull that up on a screen, have us on a different screen. We're just hanging out all night, reacting to the picks, reacting to trades, rumors, and all that stuff. We got a lot of Mavs stuff to touch on as well, obviously, because they've been pretty busy lately. So we're just hanging. We're just hanging.
Yes, Tanner is producing tonight's show. Sarah says she loves the lilac suit. She says it's fire. Cameron says that we come off as traditional suit wearers.
Really? Interesting.
I would love to see Bobby in a suit, actually. I don't think I've ever seen you in anything other than T-shirts, shorts, or jeans.
I think I haven't worn a suit since probably 2023.
Really?
This is the last time I remember wearing a suit. Yeah.
I'd get you out on a date or something, so you put on something nice, hang out a little bit.
Everyone just owns me, dude. Everyone just bullies
That
me.
was meaner than anything I have ever said to you, Bobby.
Jeez.
I didn't say wear a suit.
Is your mic on, Tanner?
Nice. I said something nice.
Oh, okay. Tanner just yelled, "Who wears a suit on a date anyways?" Respect.
I didn't say go full 3-piece with it, with the handkerchief and all, but, nice little dinner jacket, some nice pants. Oh, Sarah says you would rock a pinstripe suit.
The first suit I ever had was a pinstripe suit. That was back in 2005.
Oh, we need pictures. We eventually need
No,
pictures.
You don't.
Honestly, yeah, for your sake, Bobby, I don't think we need
pictures
on
of that.
either.
Okay.
You don't. No, you don't.
That's the kind of fun we're going to have on our NBA draft show tonight. So we want you to get in.
Hopefully more fun than that. But
if it means talking about your fashion choices, yeah, why not? So make sure you settle in with us throughout the entirety of the evening. Again, we're going to be with you for all 3 hours. The man of the hour, Cooper Flagg, though, the Duke sensation, the freshman who led Duke to the Final Four this past season, had his workout with the Dallas Mavericks last week. About an hour and 15 minutes, he was able to go through some things, understand what was going on here with the organization, have a chance to sit down at not 1 but 2 steakhouses here in Dallas, and had a chance to get himself acclimated to Dallas. Let's hear from Cooper Flagg, who spoke yesterday during the pre-draft media availability about, is there any pressure to follow a certain former number 77 if he does, in fact, become a Dallas Maverick? Here is what Cooper Flagg had to say.
I wouldn't look at anything as pressure. I think, me going into whatever situation I go into, I'm just going to try and be myself all the time, and I'm going to push myself to be better and better every single day, and make the most out of every day. I'm not worried about living up to certain players' expectations or things like that. I'm just going to be myself and really just try and get better every single day that I can.
He's got a good head on his shoulders. For someone who's not going to be 19 years old until December, he seems like he's very grounded, someone who understands what the assignment is, and most importantly for him, a chance to have a dream fulfilled. All of these players, whether it be Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, Tanner, all these players have a chance to have their dreams fulfilled. We are obviously anticipating Cooper Flagg's name being the first one taken. Just this night in and of itself, what this team has gone through, Bobby, what excites you most about this evening with the opportunity for Cooper Flagg to officially become a Dallas Maverick here?
I think I speak for a lot of beleaguered Mavs fans when I say that the best thing about tonight is that they don't have to make a choice. They could just do the easy thing. And that is good. That is my official take. If you don't have to make a choice, you can't mess it up.
Kato, how are we feeling about this evening? What's fronting the Mavericks tonight?
I am still kind of thinking through their options at number 1.
Figures. Got it.
So I do like Cooper a lot, but
Cooper seems like a good player.
I really am liking the Cedric Howard kid.
Okay, got it. Just skip right on past Dylan Harper, right on past.
Probably
Who?
annoyingly a future OKC Thunder, Cedric Coward. That's the word on the street.
Oh, got it.
Quite possibly.
By the way, there's a chance to be not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Mountain Verde players taken in the first round tonight. Cooper Flagg has 3 former teammates that have a chance to go in the first round as well.
I do want to provide a spoiler alert. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they do the national anthem or whatever, but ESPN is about to start the draft. I think they just keep showing teenagers in suits, but eventually they will get to the action. The way that we're running our stream is when the pick is in, you will see the pick is in screen, and then Tanner will reveal to you who the pick is. We're going based off the internet. We're not going based off the ESPN stream. So if you were like, I don't want spoilers, I want to know as Adam Silver, my favorite person in the whole wide world, announces the pick, then you might want to delay us by a minute or two. Or you can find out live with us, because I'm not looking at Twitter, all right? I'm counting on Tanner for the news.
Okay.
And Elijah.
That's right. Prophet in the house
Cat
as
is
well.
somewhere here. John Anderson is somewhere here. GM Ben is here. We got Abby Jones at the arena right now. Follow our channels and stuff.
Marcin, let's get your perspective on this night.
Well, the good news is I think I'm back up and running, which
Awesome.
your chances of ever getting me out of the dungeon again were not good if I don't have a computer that works. So that helps.
Got it.
It's going to be a lot of action. It's going to be a lot of picks moving today. But I mean, look, the one thing we know is, well, we know 2 things. Cooper Flagg's going 1. Dylan Harper's going 2. After that, buckle up. Philly at 3, Charlotte at 4. They might keep their picks, but they will listen. They will weigh moving. And once, seriously, from 3 on, look, I don't know how many veterans, known players will be moved tonight, because we've already seen 5 pretty significant trades. I mean, not everybody likes to use Blockbuster, but I mean, we have seen significant trade action already. So tonight could be focused more on picks. We'll have to see how that goes. But you got teams like the Nets who've got 5 firsts. You've got OKC with 2 firsts. They want to, they could move up, they could move out. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that's going to be happening. Good times.
Teams that are not named the Dallas Mavericks that are going to be interesting tonight, as Mark started to touch on, the Brooklyn Nets have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 first-round picks tonight in this year's NBA draft. Will they be doing some wheeling and dealing as the night goes on? Will the Mavericks find themselves trading back into the first round later on this evening? Some intrigue there as well. Also, Philadelphia, they hold the number 3 pick. Will they take Ace Bailey? Will they take someone else? VJ Edgecombe from Baylor, will he go number 3? There's some serious intrigue, but we are just about to be underway in New York City at Barclays Center for the 2025 NBA draft, as Cooper Flagg, of course, expected to be taken number 1 by your Dallas Mavericks, as Adam Silver is approaching
The first pick
the podium
of the 2025 NBA draft.
That's coming in a few minutes. He's coming up to open up officially.
He's going to say a bunch of stuff that no one wants to listen to. Get on with the show, Adam.
He's doing the show. He's opening up the show. He's opening up the draft.
To me, the draft represents the start of a new era for our young prospects, and shout out to everyone around the world. And
So what?
Thank you, Commissioner.
So what happens if the first overall pick, Adam comes back to the podium and says, the first overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks select Bobby Carolla?
First of all, we would have the number 1 pick sitting right here. So that'd be awesome to talk to you.
Just walk us through your reactions if that were to happen, Bobby.
Well, I would finally feel like my life is the Truman Show. I think we all sort of have this belief deep down. I think that we're like the main character of reality, and something like that I think would confirm that I am indeed the protagonist of this entire thing. And then I would be very scared. I'd probably start crying, tears of fear.
As we get
would
ready
you leave
for
the set, or would you let us relish in the content of?
Say, when is
wow.
that check cashing? And then I'm never talking to any of y'all ever again.
Wow.
Okay,
Except for Mark Stein. I love you, Mark.
Damn, you wouldn't talk.
Not
to
what
me?
I read today on Twitter.
Jesus.
Well, because I got Devo.
You're not gonna talk to
tape.
Cat either?
All right,
No,
Cat. I'll talk to you, Cat.
Damn.
Oh my God! All right, so we cut it in the chamber. All right, calm down.
You want to read that from earlier today?
Mark Stein reports that the Mavs are a leading suitor for D'Angelo Russell. He's just trying to make me mad at 10 in the morning. So I quote tweeted him and said, "Usually I love hearing from Mark Stein. Usually I do, but not always. No, not always."
Oh, here it is.
No, he's not announcing.
I was just kidding. I was just kidding. Ben, don't come over here with that BS now, okay? It's too late.
But we'll talk about
on
D'Lo
the
later.
clock.
We'll talk about D'Lo later.
But the Dallas Mavericks are officially on the clock.
Now is
with
the time for celebration.
Number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft, as Adam Silver has officially opened up tonight's festivities. Cooper Flagg, the number 1 overall prospect, one of the best prospects in quite some time. You could throw in Zion Williamson. You could throw in Victor Wembanyama. You could throw in LeBron James. Whomever you want to throw in is some of the best prospects over the last 25 years. Cooper Flagg is among them as we get ready for tonight. An exciting day as we get ready for the official announcement of Cooper Flagg being announced as a member of the Dallas Mavericks. To recap, last year, of course, the Mavericks went 39-43, lost in the second play-in game to the Memphis Grizzlies after making the NBA Finals a year ago. They failed to make the postseason this past year.
Bobby Marks' team need, as just listed by ESPN, includes health.
Health. That would be a great thing for the Mavericks to have going into this upcoming season. Of course, coming off the most controversial trade in NBA history when on February 1st, the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic in exchange for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and, of course, a first-round pick. The Mavericks look to get back to the postseason this upcoming year, and with what happened on May 12th, with a 1.8% chance, the Mavericks won the NBA draft lottery, securing the right to officially capture the flag as we see the Mavs draft headquarters, headlined by Jason Kidd, Nico Harrison, and, of course, Michael Finley as
Kidd's
well.
in the room. What does it mean?
He is in the room with the entire Mavericks contingent. And also, just down the street from us,
It looks like there's a lot of people there. Good for them.
at the American Airlines Center, the Mavericks watch party taking place as well live as they await the words from Adam Silver that Cooper Flagg will be joining the Dallas Mavericks. So we are ready to settle in for the next 3 hours here. I'm excited to see how this all plays out.
Who screenshotted who was in the Mavs war room? Anybody do that for us? In the
saw a
chat.
lot
In the
of-
chat.
I think they're
I
all
saw a
watching
lot of
us.
familiar
Who
faces.
screenshotted that for us in the
I
chat?
saw Brian Smith suggest the Mavs would trade the pick for Russell. That is a bold move, and I love it. You want that guy? You go get your guy. Go do what it takes to get that guy.
Wilson?
No,
Crowe?
it's a different sport, dude. Lock in.
Well, Russell Crowe is an actor. So
Where's the clock? How many more?
Are y'all attuned to the pick
Oh,
is
the
in
pick
thing?
is in.
'Cause, like
The
like,
pick is
you're
in.
following the
Pick
bird.
is in.
Jason Kidd can almost say his name.
Right, you can almost say his name. Of course, Cooper
Have they
Flagg.
not posted it? Really? We don't got anyone spoiling this year?
There will be spoiling. I mean, do people really need to spoil this one?
This is not fair.
There will be lots of spoilage.
I don't know. They're showing some stuff about Maine.
That's right. His
No
mom
one
was a terrific
cares.
basketball player. Did you know that?
It's all about Dallas.
Scored over 1,000 points in high school.
This ain't MANE.
Wow.
The kid from Duke.
The main event, you not feeling that?
He doesn't like that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't like the main event nickname.
I wouldn't want to be named after a company either.
And the other player, Duncan Robinson.
He wasn't drafted, was he?
Duncan Robinson wasn't drafted.
Okay, but he's from Maine.
Yeah.
There are two players
Whoa,
from
that's
Maine.
the NASCAR guy. What's he doing here?
That Marty Smith. Put some respect on Marty Smith, okay? Thank you. Marty Smith is goated.
I've only ever seen him do NASCAR stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
does
does
he?
go- yeah, Marty Smith is goated, okay?
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. I didn't know. My bad.
Relax. Relax.
I'm not saying that disparagingly.
We're just make sure you put the proper respect on Marty
Just like
Smith.
I just want to make
okay?
sure that we didn't change the channel on accident.
You thought we had the wrong thing on
Yeah,
the
I'm all for watching a race.
I honestly do not know who this man is.
You don't know the greatness of Marty Smith either?
He looks great. He looks awesome.
That's one of the Marty Smith always comes
Dude,
correct.
he's hyping these people up. Oh my god.
He is live
This is
in
the
Newport,
most hype
Maine.
anybody from Maine has ever been.
That might be true.
I've told you.
Yeah, look, the rest of them are kind of bored.
I wouldn't say bored. I would just say that my impression of Maine probably very inaccurate. We now have Mainers in the chat, so apologies in advance.
Yes,
for the,
welcome to our brothers and sisters from Maine who are going to be watching.
I am sure I'm doing a lot of slandering right now.
The DLLS Mavs.
Only
Please-
two
please come
players from
correct
Maine
me.
have ever played in the NBA. Do you guys know who they are?
Mark, you've been locked into
we literally
news.
just saw Jeff Turner.
You've been locked
And
into
Duncan
news.
Robinson.
It was
Right.
on the screen.
We literally just talked about
I
this.
named the other one.
Lock in, Stein. Lock in.
Mark, did you know the
We
Mavs have the number
literally
one
just
pick?
talked about this.
I don't have time to watch the watch along. I got 7 screens
You're
over here.
literally in the watch along right now.
Yeah, but
You're
I'm
literally
not
a
watching
part.
what's on that screen. That's the last place I'm watching.
And the pick is
God,
in.
they really milked that. Oh, my God. Oh, he's already about to stand up. The pick is in, says Tanner. Whoa! They did
Adam
it!
Silver
They
walks up
did
to the
it!
podium.
No, it's already there. It's already done.
I'm just going what's on the screen.
We're like a minute and a half
Well,
behind.
we're
real
behind.
time.
The Mavericks have announced it. It's official.
What? Cooper Flagg. Is
Oh, my
the-
God.
Whoa.
Man.
Oh, wow. He brought
Wow,
the real
is that
bubbly out.
bubbly?
It is
I'll take the Mick Ultra.
official. Cooper Flagg, freshman from Duke, is the number 1 pick by your Dallas Mavericks. There it
Cheers
is.
to the state of Maine.
Man.
Cheers to Jeff
Welcome
Turner.
to our brothers and sisters from Maine.
Cheers to Ernst and Young.
Wow.
Cheers
wow.
to Rolando Blackman.
Shout out to Ro Blackman.
And
friend
to
of the show.
nobody
Man.
else. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
We did it.
Cheers.
There it is.
Cheers to Cooper.
Oh, that's good.
Enjoy it, folks. Hopefully this never happens again, but picking number 1 is fun sometimes. It's fun sometimes.
Cooper Flagg, the 2025 Naismith Men's College Player of the Year from Newport, Maine, puts on the hat,
Tanner, can you get the
the official
stream
Dallas Mavericks draft hat, shaking Adam Silver's hand.
title? Now, who do they trade him to? Details incoming. I'm just reading the chat. Our friend Mark in chat said that.
Let's talk about him, gentlemen. 6'9" from Duke, 221. Versatile player, shot nearly 39% from 3, gave you a steal and a half per game, a block and a half per game, a monster defensively. Bobby, what are the Mavericks getting in one Cooper Flagg?
He's a very, very, very good player. He's 18 years old, but he's already very developed. He's a guy that normally, like whenever you talk about guards, you think about their feel for the game. It's typically something they reserve for point guards and maybe some 2 guards. But as a guy that can play 3 or 4, he has a really high basketball IQ, good instincts, good anticipation, good understanding of the game, really good technique at both ends of the floor. Defensively, really good verticality, big-time shot blocker. Offensively, really good footwork, good court awareness, can already make really simple plays, has a pretty good jump shot, good form, shot it really well down the stretch for Duke like the back half of the season, has a little bit of a back-to-the-basket game already, really good finishing around the rim. He's an explosive jumper, which helps him not just finish around the rim on offense, but also block shots on defense. He can run the floor. He can set screens. He can run some pick and rolls. He can do a little bit of everything already. And I think long-term, he projects as the kind of player that could impact nearly every single defensive possession. No matter where he is, you gotta keep an eye on him. And then offensively, he's the kind of guy that if he works out is someone that you can run some offense through, that can set his teammates up for success, but that can also mismatch hunt, take bigs off the dribble, punish smaller guys down low, and has the footwork and the explosiveness to create his own shot from anywhere on the floor. I'm not saying he's going to do any of that from day one. I'm saying that is an ideal outcome if that's what he becomes. I think he can be one of the top wings in the NBA, and I think he can be one of the premier two-way players in the NBA.
A little bit later on in the show, we'll have some Corellustrator being broken out to give you a little bit more of a visual on what Cooper Flagg could potentially be doing in a Mavericks uniform. But Tim Cato, it is official. Cooper Flagg is a member of the Dallas Mavericks. Second youngest number 1 pick, 18 years, 186 days. The only player younger to be drafted number 1. LeBron James, of course, back in 2003. Cooper Flagg is a Dallas Maverick.
Yeah, no pressure, Cooper. You gotta pass LeBron. I agree with a lot of what Bobby said. A lot of it, I think that is so fascinating about this is, what we talked about right before the draft started, that this is a player who has won everywhere he goes, and winning player. And I know winning player gets, there's a million ways you can look at it. And in some ways it's a cliche. In other ways it's, the stats nerds can break it down for you and say, some guys, even if their box score doesn't look like it, look at their plus minus. There's a million ways to define it. But Cooper Flagg absolutely, unquestionably is the definition of a winning player. He makes winning plays. He has the high motor. He has just the drive and the excellence and the commitment. There are very, 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 as Bobby went over, very few weak points in his game. Almost at every aspect, like name a skill, name a part of this sport. And it's something that he can do with at least competency and maybe quite a bit more than that. So for him to be coming to a team that is immediately right now instantly looking for exactly that really stands out to me. That's a really notable thing. And it's exciting. It's exciting. It's exactly, in a lot of ways, it's really what this team needs. Now, I do think that there are, still going to be questions, but they're fun questions. They're interesting questions. A lot of the intrigue that is coming from, where does he fit in? Is this the right way to build the team around him? Should he be given more room to operate than 2 non-shooting bigs? These are all interesting questions. How good is he going to be? Is he going to be an offensive superstar? Is he going to be just an offensive star? Oh, no, just an offensive star player who's probably at worst, top 20, top 30 in the NBA. That's not so bad either. So when you think about Cooper Flagg and you think about the optionality, you think about what Dallas gets to decide and get to do, about the decisions they get to make around him, that's what's fun. Because this is not a scenario where, you're gambling on high risk, high reward. You're just gambling on high reward. Or maybe it's just, or maybe it's very high reward. All of that is just so exciting and so fun. And it's really like for us, me, I find it really interesting because everything when it comes to Cooper this season, going forwards, at least the next few seasons, everything about Cooper, from what we know right now, is going to be exciting and interesting, even if it's not always, perfect.
Yeah, he's announcing it right now. Yeah.
Dylan Harper.
No one's posting anything on Twitter.
Dylan Harper goes number 2.
No reporter, no nothing.
San Antonio Spurs.
That is so lame.
Adam Silver told him to shut that ish down tonight. Okay, we're not spoiling any draft picks.
That's really lame. Actually, that's really annoying because.
Which is funny because folks will respond to that and say we've been wanting folks to stop spoiling draft picks for years.
It doesn't. You're never gonna make everyone happy.
Yeah.
Like everyone in every NBA fan is just like, God, I need the logo on the court. I need the finals logo on the court so bad. And it's like, dude, chill out. We're good. But here I am complaining. I want people to look at the picks.
I'm surprised by this take by you, honestly, because I thought you were more of a basketball person. Like, hey, I want to find out when everybody else finds it instead of spoiling the pick.
No,
very interesting.
The only reason that we don't find out immediately is so that they can go to commercial breaks.
There we go. A couple notes on Cooper Flagg. He becomes the 5th Duke Blue Devil, taken number 1 in the modern era, joining Paolo Banchero, Zion Williamson, Elton Brand, and, of course, his now new teammate, Kyrie Irving, who just signed, it was agreed to, I should say, a 3-year, $119 million contract.
Going to be better than all those guys.
And we do have a brand new T-shirt if you're watching us live right now on the DLLS Mavs Draft Show. We have a brand new Cooper Flagg captured T-shirt available right now. A new release with DLLS. Flag Captured is the name of the T-shirt, and it is available to get. ALLCITY Network.
Where? In the locker?
Store.allcitynetwork.com.
Gotcha.
For all of your needs.
Perfect.
When it comes to our merchandise. But
Perfect.
yes, we have a brand new
That's a nice
Flag
shirt.
Captured. It's a dope shirt. I love the shirt.
Perfect.
And also, Cooper Flagg officially going to be wearing the number 32 here in Dallas. So that was revealed at the American Airlines Center just moments ago. Cooper Flagg will be wearing number 32 here in Dallas. We cool with the number? I was hoping for 18, not going to lie to you. Hoping for 18 for the 1.8%. But he's going to be wearing
Do we have a list of all 32s in Mavs history?
Jamal Mashburn, Trey Burke.
Marquise Chris
wore number 32. Yeah, that's a good shout. There's
Jason
been
Terry
quite a
basically
few.
wore it.
Couple 2-way and 10-day guys I think wore it.
There you go. But Cooper Flagg going to be wearing
With a
number
rounding
32.
error.
Tim,
Dylan
What's
Harper
wrong with what I said?
goes number 2 to the San Antonio Spurs. Up next on the clock is the Philadelphia 76ers.
the DLLS shirt is not $75.
Oh, shout out to the Dallas Wings. A new era of Dallas basketball. Welcome to Dallas, Cooper, alongside Paige Beckers, who is at the American Airlines Center as we currently speak, celebrating with Mavericks fans, as, of course, she was the number 1 overall pick just a couple of months ago.
OJ Mayo. Oh, God, what a good Mav.
Good shout.
What a
Whoever
great
had
half a
that.
season.
So,
For half a season, I was convinced OJ Mayo
Bass,
was.
432. Man, I'm getting old. I should remember these things.
how you feel about seeing Ron
Brandon
Harper's
Bass?
kid getting drafted?
Hey, man.
How old you
Ron
feel?
Hart? No, I don't feel old. I'm Ron Harper is one of my absolute all-time favorites that I covered. He was a co-star of the very first team I covered in Clipperland. My very first free agent summer as a beat writer. He left the Clippers to go to Chicago. Covered his whole career with the Bulls.
Terrific role player with the Bulls. He was terrific there.
I actually can't wait to see him at some point this season and congratulate him because he's got 2 sons in the NBA.
That's right.
Pretty amazingly
Who's
cool.
the other one?
Ron Harper Jr.
That's right.
What team is he on?
For the boys and girls who don't know, Ron
I
Harper.
believe he finished last season with Toronto, but I could be off on that.
Ron Harper was a
Detroit.
baller.
Detroit.
Yeah, he was a 2-way player for
Oh,
Detroit.
nice. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Do yourself a favor. Look up some. If they're out there, Ron Harper highlights.
Oh, I know who Ron Harper. I just didn't know that.
No, not you. I'm talking
Ron Harper
about
Jr.
boys and girls out there. Because Ron Harper was a baller.
I would agree with Elliot. The draft starts now.
VJ Edgecombe potentially going number 3. Ace Bailey going number 3.
We got to see first if Philly's keeping the pick. Philly has tried to move up. They've been getting
tried to move up.
They've tried to move up.
Oh,
they
wow.
wanted to get 2 from San Antonio, but the Spurs, the talk has been, there have been so many Team X is trying to get number 2 from San Antonio. Heard it today. The Spurs were adamant. We are not trading 2. We are drafting Harper. But it really does start with 3 and 4 because Philly, Charlotte could go up. Now they can't go up. But they could stay where they are, trade down. The whole Ace Bailey thing factors in here because Ace Bailey did have a workout schedule with the Sixers, canceled it. To league knowledge, he didn't work out for anybody, which is very rare for an American top draft prospect. So it's going to be fascinating to see what Philly does here. I think Baylor's VJ Edgecombe is probably the most popular projection for this pick. Man, my whole game is off sitting in the seat. This will be the last time I'm in the third seat. This will be the last time.
Not Mark Stein being a diva.
When Jason Kidd and Rolando Blackman were here, okay,
Oh,
I'll
you were
slide
cool with
over
that.
one.
You was cool
slide
with
over
that.
for
Tim
Tim
Cato
Cato.
has completely messed up my whole
Oh, wow.
system tonight.
As we await the third pick of the 2025 NBA draft, which is going to be made by the Philadelphia 76ers, Cooper Flagg goes.
My writing partner says it's VJ
Oh.
Edgecombe at number 3 to Philadelphia.
So
Jake
wait, they
Fisher's
told
been
him
on the
not to
beat.
start tweeting out stuff until pick number 3. Is that what we're doing?
Well, I
Okay.
think everyone in the world knew who 1 and 2 were.
It's just funny though. It's just funny. But as we wait the number 3 pick, you said it sounds like VJ Edgecombe though.
There it is. There. Let's go,
The
Tanner.
Philadelphia 76ers take VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. You want to give us a scouting report, Tanner, on VJ Edgecombe? No? Got it?
Tanner's got more screens over there than Mark Stein does.
Well, that's a lot of screens because Mark's got a ton of them right now. But VJ Edgecombe going number 3 out of Baylor to the Philadelphia 76ers. Charlotte now is on the clock. Where do the Charlotte Hornets go from here? Ace Bailey?
They've been asking themselves that question for 20 years.
That's a great
I
line.
suspect Knipple.
Con Knipple, another Duke player. We're going to find out here shortly. But I like this pick for Philadelphia. VJ Edgecombe is a baller. We got a couple super chats we can get to real quick, too. All right.
Tanner said.
Very local NBA draft so far.
Oh,
Cooper Flagg to the Mavs. Baylor star goes 3. Local angles abound.
Did Ron Harper ever live in Dallas?
No, but he is good friends with Dallas's own Spud Webb.
Oh, there you go. Connections abound.
Shout out Spud Webb.
Who's the next most
Shout
Dallas
out
adjacent
local
prospect?
Dallas legend Spud Webb.
We can save it for later, yeah. Yeah, Billy with the $5 super chat. Shout out to the main event. I always want to thank Yogi Ferrell and Salah Mejri for paving the way for this franchise. Hashtag
This would
MFFL.
not be possible without Yogi and Salah's contributions. Of course, the Mavs struggled quite a bit. Their win-loss with the Yogs was not the best, which helped them get Luka, which helped them get Cooper Flagg.
Salah the baller.
The butterfly effect of Yogi Mania will be studied for decades to come. His story is not yet finished.
Sounds like a project for you that you might want to engage in. It sounds like it's something that Bobby Curl would go down memory lane of.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of the hats. That's a good point by Sarah. I really don't like these.
You're not
hats
feeling
at
the
all.
hats this year?
No, I'm really not.
Okay.
I think the only hats that I favor are branded Bills hats.
Good point.
I'll tell you about those here in a little bit.
Oh, I like those hats a lot.
Yeah. What, the branded Bills hats?
No, these.
Oh.
Those
Fine.
are cool.
Is that what this hat is in front of me?
I like the script font.
No, that is the draft.
Yeah, this is the draft hat,
That's the
right?
draft hat, yes.
Here, Tanner, can you give me on a close-up?
How'd you guys get all these shirts and stuff?
How do I look?
That's a long story, Mark Stein, that we'll tell at some
We're
point.
plugged
down the
in,
road.
baby. How do I look?
Oh, we are very
Let me know. Am
plugged
I a
in.
hat guy?
And very online, apparently.
Is this is too loose? Do I need to go looser?
No, I think you're nailing
How
it.
much-
I only got one notch looser to go.
Wait,
Oh, let's go. Hey, we got an option for you, Bobby.
Oh, there we go.
Oh
'Cause
my
you're a bucket.
God. Well, hang on. Let me see this one first.
Eddie J says, how much
I
is
look
the
like an
flag
NBA
shirt
player to you?
autographed by Kevin? What?
All right, so here's
How much
option
is
A.
the flag
I
shirt
would
autographed
wear
by
that
me?
hat, actually. I think it fits me okay. Option B.
Gone fishing.
I don't know.
With the Dallas. Actually, that's not too bad on you.
I think it looks pretty bad on me. I think the hat is fine. I think it looks bad on me. I don't know. I don't know. I'll wear this one for a while, though.
The Charlotte Hornets are on the clock right now with the number 4 overall pick. Next after them will be Utah and Washington. If you're a Utah Jazz fan, you you tanked this past season thinking that you were going to have the chance to capture the flag yourself. Not only did they not land in the top 4, they fell as far as they possibly could with the odds that they had available to them to number 5.
Even after that Utah game? Even after that Utah game?
He's got so much going on. He's got so much
They
going
only
on.
won 16 other games besides the game we talk about all the time.
It's our busiest broadcast of the year, and only Elijah's helping out. Kat, John, and Ben are nowhere to be found right now. Do we have any news? Any news?
Oh, nice
I need,
draft graphic
I
there.
need news.
I like that. I like the draft board.
That is a sharp board. It's a real good looking board.
That is hilarious. So they really didn't start tweeting out the names of the picks until starting with 3. That is really funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and we've talked about this on this show quite a bit. If you're watching for the first time, welcome to our channel. We stream weekdays, usually from noon to 1 Central, and then also pregame and postgame for every single Mavs game, including preseason. And one thing we've talked about a lot since the Mavs won the lottery with the 1.8% chance that some people think was rigged. I don't, but whatever. It's your reality. View it how you would like. But I think with Atlanta making the jump last year to number 1 and the Mavs making the jump this year, and a lot of teams that were ranked number 1 or number 2 falling down very far, the Pistons last year, the Jazz this year, to me it just kind of reinforces that there is no point in getting bad enough to be horrible. Like, you can just be bad kind of on accident and have a decent shot at the number 1 pick. I don't think that what you should do is create a situation that is impossible to dig out of. Utah is so horrible, and the Hornets are, in particular, just so horrendously bad that is going to take them a very long time to get good enough to contend for a playoff spot or even a play-in spot. And by then, all of the players that the Jazz have now will probably have their reputation stained for being losers, so they won't be able to get as much stuff for them then as they could have whenever they were trying to be bad but held on to those good players anyway. Or they could have just gotten more good players instead of getting rid of them and been good. So I think that my hope is that we live in a world where no team ever tanks for an entire season. You can make that decision at game 60 or whatever, the way a lot of teams have done in recent years. But yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining to see the Hornets and the Jazz punished. Same for the Wizards. The Wizards are an embarrassment.
My thing is, did the Utah Jazz not just pay attention to what happened a year ago? I mean, the Atlanta Hawks were in a spot where you didn't think they would get the number 1 pick, but they moved all the way up to number 1. Like, tanking is not necessarily the thing that you want to do now that the draft odds have been flattened given the new lottery system that's in place. So
yeah, and Toad French says that even back then, so the Mavs had a 25% chance at the number 1 pick back in 1900, I believe 92, the Shaq draft. They fell down to number 4. They got Jim Jackson, who ended up having a really good career. Or that might have been the Jamal Mashburn year. I forget which year Shaq was. But they fell down, and they did not get the number 1 pick. And they were very bad. One of the worst teams of all time. Yeah, by record.
Just try to win games. Try your best. Try your best to win.
That's what we're seeing. I mean, that's what makes the Drew move work. For Portland is like, Portland might still be bad, but at least they're, in theory, closer to contending for a playoff spot now. And I think that they could this year.
Washington shouldn't necessarily be a miserable watch all season long now that they've gotten some additional players there. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But the pick is in for the Charlotte Hornets. We will find out momentarily who that is going to be. But so far, Cooper Flagg goes number 1. Dylan Harper goes number 2 to the San Antonio Spurs as expected. VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor goes number 3 to Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers. We wait picks 4, 5, and 6 with Charlotte, Utah, and the Washington Wizards coming up at number 6. Of course, the Brooklyn Nets, they own 5 first-round picks. Oklahoma City, of course, the now reigning NBA champion. They've got some interesting things that they could be doing in the first round here as well with the number of picks that they have in the first round. So still some intrigue to go as we move deeper into the first.
Any rumors for us, Mark?
Chasing it, my man. Chasing it.
I'm not. Some rumors.
Con Knipple.
Is that a rumor? I like rumors.
Look at that. The pick is in. That was fancy.
There it is.
Con Knipple out of Duke goes number 4 to the Charlotte Hornets. The sharpshooter from Durham now finds himself playing alongside LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller in Charlotte. So
thanks for tuning in, Kayla. Appreciate that.
Kayla with this is my
our star show is so great too.
This is my first and a half time. Is that what she said?
No, first time watching a live stream.
Oh. Can you go back to that comment real quick? Yeah. Yeah, this is my first and a half time tuning in. I was occupied keeping up.
We're sorry
with
for
the Dallas
Bobby.
Stars
He can't really read that well.
NHL.
I was literally saying the message. Said she watches the Star Shows the first time watching the Mavs show. So shout out to Kayla. Thank you for watching.
I had the opportunity to watch the draft and hang out with y'all tonight. Y'all seem cool. You know, Kayla, we appreciate you. And we're not half bad. We're not half bad.
So I like Con.
What?
I like Con to Charlotte.
Is that how long you been waiting to get that off?
I was waiting. I mean, I like that weird.
What is with you today?
What is with me
Into
today?
the mic, Mark. Into the mic.
What is with you today?
Oh, Mark, less.
Wait,
I can't function in this
People
chair.
are getting mad at-
I am never sitting here again. Everything I'm doing is wrong.
I make it look so easy, don't I?
You
oh
do.
wow,
Man.
oh
You
wow.
do. I am doing everything.
People are
wrong.
mad at me because I wanted to talk about the pick.
Has the Ace Bailey fall
I'm not.
begun already?
Talk about it.
I was ready. I like Khan. I like him in Charlotte. He shoots and he connects on offense and he can play anywhere, and no one can't play anywhere. But he's one of those players where you put him on the floor on offense, he'll make you better. It doesn't really matter who's around him.
So earlier today, my colleague Jake Fisher reported that Ace Bailey outright refused an invite to work out for the Jazz. I've also seen Austin Ainge this week say, and of course Austin Ainge, the new shot caller in Utah, his father Danny is still the CEO, Justin Zanuck still the GM. But I heard Austin Ainge say that if Ace Bailey's the guy we want, we're taking him whether he wants to be here or not. So let's see what happens now. The conventional wisdom has been that Ace Bailey wants to go to
the East Coast,
the Wizards at number 8, 6, or the Nets at number 8. He wants to go somewhere he's going to get a lot of shots, get a lot of run, get a lot of on-ball usage.
I mean, look, there's not a lot of leverage that any of these players really have when it comes to the draft.
Elliot Eitzman says it will be Trey Johnson to the Jazz. He is put it on record.
So I guess give some credit to Ace Bailey for trying to dictate his situation where he wants to go, because the draft in and of itself, I mean, you go where you get picked. So if he thinks he can have some influence on where he eventually lands, go for it.
These guys all have the most Zoomer hair. The dude on the right, no offense, I mean, he's probably like 14 years old, but him and Green Guy are making me mad.
Are these all his brothers?
Those guys are making me mad.
Those can't be all 4 of his brothers.
What do you think they are? His children?
What do you mean they
Cousins?
He can't have 4 brothers?
I'm just saying, like, the Stair Stepper kids are right here are sending me right here. Like, the one of them looked like he about 10. The other one looked like he about 12. The other one looked like an overgrown 14-year-old.
It's the Knipple bunch.
That is true.
I like that a lot.
That is true.
I like
Monochromatic fits. That is true.
Zoomer haircuts, I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it with the Zoomers. Or I guess are those Gen Alphas? I don't know. Hey, do you want to hit an ad break real quick? I got them both if you need me to get them.
Cook, Corella, then cook then. Let's go.
All right, hey, don't go anywhere. We gotta do a quick ad break.
Oh, those are his brothers.
2 minutes. We're gonna tell you about our friends at Empire and Branded Bills. Don't go anywhere. It's the DLLS Mavs Draft Day live show. Empire today. God, I love floors. We love floors here, and we've all been to those big box stores where they're trying to rip you off. You got people that was trying to sell pool supplies yesterday. Tomorrow they're going to be working in roofing. But today they're trying to rip you off, selling you stuff that they don't really know about to put in your home. And there's arguably nothing in your home you're going to use more often than your floors. Every single room has flooring, and all of that flooring can need repairs. All of it can break. All of it can look bad. All of it can go bad. It's summer. It's party season. It's pool season. You're going to be getting stains. You're going to be getting water on your floor, and you need the best stuff to always look nice for whenever you have company over or whenever you're just hanging out. Empire today eats, sleeps, and breathes flooring. They can bring the showroom to you to show you what your flooring is going to look like in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your living room, with your lighting and your decor. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today, and they can actually get you a scheduled installation as soon as the next day. So schedule a free in-home estimate right now because some things are just better at home. DLLS listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DLLS, a $350 discount code DLLS. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DLLS for full details. Also, let me tell you about our friends at Branded Bills that makes better hats than what we're seeing on the draft show tonight. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or even T-shirts, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style, so you're going to be looking good, feeling good, and you know what that means.
You feel good.
You're playing good.
You're playing good.
If you're looking good and feeling good, you're feeling good, you're playing good.
That's right.
Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They also have a partnership with more than 30 colleges, including TCU, Texas Tech, and soon cometh the Texas Longhorns. Head to brandedbills.com and use code BBDLLS. Again, code BBDLLS for 15% off your first order.
By the way, those were all 4 of his brothers. His brothers' names, talking about Con Knipple, Cash, Kager, Kinston, and Kidman.
Dangerous game that family's playing. That's all I'm going to say about that.
My former ESPN teammate Jeff Goodman says the Jazz are taking Ace Bailey.
Are you serious? Oh, are we about to see someone cry on
which
TV?
would be
Yikes.
which would be
Oh,
quite stony. Quite
damn.
Quite a statement. Quite a statement for Austin Ainge in his first draft running the Utah Jazz.
Damn,
Man. He does not look very happy.
He
does
looks not thrilled.
So they're taking Ace Bailey. I thought they said they're trying to win next year.
Oh,
jeez.
are they going to trade that? Are they going to trade the pick, Mark? Or are they keeping him? Do you know?
I do not.
Ace Bailey to the Utah
Wow.
Jazz. Yikes.
All right, so a few things on this. One, maybe was it all smokescreen? Two, because I mean he's smiling now. Two, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that he's more of a wing. They already have Lowry, who kind of plays 4, but sometimes 3 for them because they also have John Collins, who is rumored apparently. And Mark, I believe you refuted that rumor that the Lakers were pursuing him, but that you have said that a market for him is still forming, or maybe that was Jake. I did read that in the Steinline newsletter recently. So between Lowry, Collins, and Walker Kessler, who I know is a hot name too, like that's a front court. You're drafting Ace into that, unless the plan is to play him at the 2, but you already have Sexton and Clarkson and Keontae George.
Somebody
and
gotta
Cody
go.
Williams. That's a lot of guys.
Somebody might
And
be
so I'm
moving.
really curious to see what their plan is.
I mean, Colin Sexton's been rumored to be potentially on the move. Jordan Clarkson's potentially to be rumored
Yeah,
on
look,
the
John
move.
Collins, Sexton, Clarkston, they're all available.
Collins just opted into his
There have
$25
been
million
reports
option.
that the Lakers are pursuing John Collins, and yes, what I've reported is based on my information. That is not the case. The Lakers are not in the chase for John Collins at this point. John Collins, his player option deadline is tomorrow, but has actually picked up the option, so now he can be moved, $26.6 million. But wow, that is like I am eager to read the quotes and hear the sound out of Utah's post-draft press conference tonight, because
So again, you said Austin Ainge had said that.
Austin Ainge had said if Ace Bailey is our guy, we are taking him, and he just did it.
Well, I mean, okay, so like, I know that he shares a last name with a guy that used to run a different NBA team that did shock the world in 2017, pulling off a deal to move down and come away with Jason Tatum, who's the guy they wanted all along. And so I don't know, I'm doing a little what's happening and what's going on in Utah right now thing. Like, I wonder if this was the plan all along.
And-
I really do.
And my colleague Jake Fisher just tweeted that there is no trade. Ace Bailey to Utah at 5, one spot before his perceived preferred home in Washington.
The best thing for Ace Bailey is to go to a team that he is not the number one option, that he is not immediately going to come
Sure.
in and take 20 shots a game, average whatever he's going to average, shoot whatever he's going to shoot. There is no scenario where Ace Bailey, to be his best version of an NBA player, should be someone who is taking that many shots to start off with. I think that he has a lot of talent. I think that he is really potentially going to be a player but I think it's I think from what I've seen, and again, a lot of people have made it very clear this has nothing to do with character. Like, don't misinterpret the idea that he didn't work out, he didn't have any workouts, and all that stuff. Don't interpret that with Ace Bailey as the human Kevin Durant. Like if he could go and surprise us, that's one thing. But Ace Bailey, I think is intriguing for his athleticism, for his defensive tools, for his shot making ability, sure, but not that alone. I don't want I like shot making is good. I like shot making. I like shot making efficiently, taking shots that are going to go in more often than not. And so there's a player in here. There's a really good player, in Ace Bailey. I think that if Utah took him, and they took him even knowing despite him not working out for them, refusing to work out for them, they clearly have belief in his talent. But I think clearly they are not worried about his mindset and potentially changing it. Because again, all the reporting, all the evidence that we're aware of is that he didn't want to go there. So Utah is now taking a player. They're locking in on a player who they think, they can adapt to their system, to their team. And I think that could work.
So Ace Bailey goes number 5 to the Utah Jazz. So we have our top 5 picks officially locked in. Cooper Flagg goes number 1 to your Dallas Mavericks. Dylan Harper goes number 2 to the San Antonio Spurs. DJ Edgecombe, the talented Baylor Bear product, goes number 3 to the Philadelphia 76ers. Duke has another one in the top 5. Con Knipple, the sharpshooter from the Blue Devils, goes number 4 to the Charlotte Hornets. Ace Bailey out of Rutgers goes number 5 to the Utah Jazz. So far in the top 5, we've had 2 Blue Devils and 2 Scarlet Knights be taken in the top 5 of this year's NBA draft, along with a Baylor Bear. So the ACC, the Big 12, and the Big 10 being represented so far.
It's not ACC, it's ACE. ACE.
All right, Corella. All right.
Well, I'm sitting in the Tim chair. I got to make a Tim joke at least one time.
All right.
Right, Mark?
Sorry, I'm in the middle of something.
I lost it too.
No, Bobby, not you.
What did you say?
Lock in.
DJ Jog 31, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Never seen that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I think just like off rip, the Jim Carrey movies that I'm familiar with, The Mask, Bruce Almighty, and Liar Liar.
There you go.
I think those might be the only ones I've seen before.
Bruce Almighty.
Yes Man, I've seen that.
Hell of a movie.
Or No Man, I don't know. Ace of Base, goated band. Love Bubblegum Pop. You a big Ace of Base guy, KG?
An Ace of Base guy.
All right, so do we want to talk a little more Koopy?
You ready to break out the Corel Illustrator?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like oversell it. It's just one play, but
let's do it.
There was we're kind of at a lull in the draft. So there was a play when I was going through watching some Cooper stuff that really intrigued me. Okay, that really got me thinking, man, this guy might be able to play some high level basketball right away. Tanner, we got the footage, and by footage I mean images. We cannot show moving video if it's your first time watching a stream. If I show you a moving image, Adam Silver will march down here from the Barclays Center and say some really nasty things to me and my coworkers here.
Long walk.
This is Cooper Flagg. He is on the right side of the floor, and he's about to engage in a dribble handoff with his old teammate, Come on Malowich. Now, this is really important and relevant to the Mavs because 2 reasons. One, Cooper Flagg he can run some pick and rolls, but I don't really think that they're going to do that much with him right away. 2, the Mavs ran a lot of handoffs last year, and they just hired Jay Triano, who joins them from Sacramento. Sacramento led the league in handoffs like 3 years in a row, and it wouldn't surprise me if they incorporate a little more of that as the Mavs struggle a little bit with playmaking right now. So Cooper's going to pitch it and come off of the screen, and now as he recollects the ball in what is essentially just a little handoff, he now, without having to make moves, hesitate, stop and start to create a separation or an angle or an advantage against his defender. By coming off that handoff, it's just a little pitch and catch, a give and go, if you will, to where his guy is now already in pursuit. And so he can catch this ball in this next picture and turn the corner, and he's already got a step on his guy. And so now it's immediately a 2-on-1, and Duke has the floor space. They got guy in weak side corner and play side corner, and then they got a guy on the opposite wing. And so if anyone in this play is going to help Malowich's man, it's going to be the guy coming from the wing who is going to come in and make a little stunt, play the gaps a little bit, and Cooper keeps the ball down low, but he has the recognition to know all I need to do now that my guy is behind me is prevent the nail help from bothering me and then get this pass up nice and high and soft, on time and on target to my roll man. And now this is against Stanford, who isn't like the best defense of all time or anything. NBA defenses are a little more sophisticated, but this is evidence to suggest that Cooper can make some plays with the ball, especially in handoff situations. And I think that's really useful and helpful for the Mavs because They have a lot of bigs. They don't have a lot of guards. They don't have a lot of guys that can run pick and rolls the way that Kyrie can. He's out. Luka can. He's not here anymore. They have to find different ways to put their players in a position to be successful. You do have a guy like Clay that can attract some help. Maybe Brandon Williams get some off-ball help to create some level of space for Flagg to work in. And if you put him in a position like this play to make a really simple read, it's either score myself, pull up, drive all the way, or look to pass, or if dude from weak side overhelps too much, then it's just an easy kick out for a 3. That's a really simple way to get him in a position to get the ball moving and look to make a play. I don't want him to make any complicated plays early in his career, but stuff like this, I expect the Mavs to run a lot, like dozens of times per game for him and someone else, and that's definitely something that I think he'll be comfortable with right away.
And when Cooper is, let's announce one more pick, and then
we don't have to acknowledge everything.
Okay.
Unless you really want to.
Big
Trey Johnson guy?
Yeah, I'm about to say, I want to touch on that real quick because Trey Johnson is a certified bucket. My guy averaged nearly 20 points per game. The screams you hear, by the way, from Austin, from Clarence Hill Jr. as a Texas Longhorn goes number 6.
Why is he screaming? Did you think he wasn't going to get drafted?
No, he just screams because it's a Texas Longhorn. That's what he does. Averaged nearly 20 points per game as a freshman last year for the Texas Longhorns, was the SEC Freshman of the Year in the conference. Trey Johnson goes to the Washington Wizards. 6'4", talented shooter, talented scorer. Washington getting themselves a really nice player there at number 6. Go ahead, Tim.
So what were we talking about? Oh, Cooper. That's right. Has he gone yet?
Yes.
Okay. So I think in the NBA, teams will at times challenge Cooper to make sure they're going to challenge his shot. They're going to make him make shots. If he's running a traditional pick and roll, there's going to be times where teams go under and dare him to, stop, pull up. There's a lot of reason to think that he's going to match that challenge. Certainly he was somebody who was willing to take shots off the dribble. He was willing to occasionally catch and shoot, had instances of movement shooting. So these are all things that Cooper Flagg is going to rise to the challenge on. He's going to get better at. But it is possible going into his rookie season that, he's still like a low 30s 3-point percentage, that he sometimes isn't taking, that he's passing up more looks than he should. Or maybe even to say maybe he's going to pass up more looks than he will later on in his career. What I really like about the dribble handoff action is that can, defenders, when a player doesn't have the ball in the hand, aren't thinking, let me go under this pick and roll because that's like, oh, it's pick and roll defensive coverage. You're always going to try to swim over. It's a smart way. We're going to see a lot of that. And it's a way to try to create more consistently that 2-on-1 advantage, even in instances where teams aren't trying to play it that way.
The first 6 picks are in the 2025 NBA draft, as Mavericks fans lining up in droves at the American Airlines Center to purchase their number 32 Cooper Flagg jerseys. A shout out to our...
Yeah, they were also hooting and hollering to fire Nico while the Mavs were on the clock.
Apparently, yes, a fire Nico chant did break out as the Mavericks were waiting to officially select Cooper Flagg.
But, you want proof? Okay, so, there's obviously been a lot of division among the Mavs fan base since the trade. There are a lot of people that say, man, what Nico did is unforgivable. I can't believe he made that trade. I can never be a fan again. Or maybe I am a fan, but I can't root for Nico to succeed. There are some fans that say, hey, get over it, move on. I know it sucked and the team didn't have a great season, but you got to move forward, let it go. Some people say that really disrespectfully, honestly, but some people are just like, hey, move on. It's what's done is done. Now, at this draft party, while the Mavs are on the clock, you got at least several hundred, if probably more, people in there yelling fire Nico. But then they're also lined up outside the hangar at the arena by the 1,000 to buy jerseys. And so this is very clearly proof that you could really dislike the GM but still love and support the team, which just goes to show fandom is just so complicated, and this is still unprecedented territory,
for sure.
Uncharted waters. The Mavs keep calling this a reversal of fortune, getting the number 1 pick despite all the bad things that happen. And fans will say, okay, well, a reversal from what? You created your own fortune. Obviously, they can't control the injuries, and that was a huge issue for this team down the stretch. And had the team stayed healthy, we all sat up here saying we think the Mavs are pretty good. They could have won a lot of games, certainly made the playoffs, had Kyrie and AD stayed healthy. But there's still a lot of people that are really, really mad that are also going to buy a Cooper Flagg jersey, but they hate the GM. Like, it's just a very, very weird thing.
It is a weird thing. At the same time, for fans who have decided that they do not want to support this team, that is certainly their prerogative. But at the same time, there are a lot of fans who have tried to move on as much as they have tried as they could, given the circumstances. And then, I mean, let's just call it what it is. The Mavericks fell backwards into the number 1 pick, and they were able to secure one of the top prospects in the last 25 years. And for fans who have been looking for a glimmer of hope and optimism, they got it in the form of that number 1 pick, and now Cooper Flagg officially being here. So
Jeremiah Fears to New Orleans.
The Oklahoma.
Do you fear that?
It's a good pick by them.
Interesting.
This was a guy, Jeremiah Fears, real quick, who I thought if the Mavericks did not get the number 1 pick and stayed in that 10, 11 range, I thought could be a potential pick for them, knowing that they needed guard help. But he goes number 7 to the New Orleans Pelicans. So congratulations to Jeremiah Fears out of the SEC.
They just made a big deal yesterday. I mean, I wouldn't say like massive, but I mean, certainly the amount of money moved, that was a huge trade.
Yeah, CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk going over to the Washington Wizards, while Jordan Poole gets sent to the New Orleans Pelicans. So if you're clocking what the Wizards are going to be doing next year, reportedly they will have well over $100 million in cap space going into the 2026 offseason. They've got a lot of expirings coming off the books after this upcoming year. So
this next pick's going to be really interesting because as we've been writing for days, like there's a top 8. Scouts have really looked at this like there's a top 8. And so 7 of those top 8 are off the board. Malawatch is the last one. Is Brooklyn going to take? Toronto wants That's who they've wanted this whole time. And all the talk was Toronto would trade Malawatch, trade number 9 if Malawatch wasn't there.
Ooh.
And so,
okay.
So let's see now what does Brooklyn take Malawatch at 8? And then does that lead to trade action, or does Toronto get lucky here and Malawatch actually slips to them at 9? Which
it's really interesting because I just saw Eric Ruby, who's our colleague over at PHNX on the Sun Show, and I think that he would love the Suns to get Malawatch.
Well, the Suns want a big
center bad.
The Suns want a big.
Yeah, and they're at 10,
they would be. I can't see Malawatch slipping to 10. He's the top big in this draft, so that would be a stunner if he slips to 10. And Houston, we have to go through. At 10, we have to go through the charade of they will announce that as a Houston pick, and whoever is drafted will be fitted with a Rockets cap, even though we know on July 6th
they're headed to Phoenix.
That pick officially goes to the Suns, and the Suns are making that pick. The Suns are telling Houston.
That is quite a piece that he's got on. Wow.
Some fire ice that Jeremiah Fears has got on there.
Oh, my God.
By the way, Brooklyn coming up with the number 8 selection. That is one of 5 first-round picks that the Brooklyn Nets have in the 2025 NBA draft. But to put a bow on that whole Wizards thing.
Sorry, man.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. Because I wanted to get your thought on that real quick because they made the moves and they've put themselves in a position next year to have a ton of cap space. What is that? Just the plan? Like just clear the books as much as they can and see what they can do going into the summer of 2026 there?
Can you repeat the question?
Wizards got a lot of cap space. What are they up to?
I mean, that's next summer. I mean, we're still trying to figure out this summer, so I'm gonna. You're right. They will.
Just ignoring the question.
I'm not.
First, he's like,
I'm not ignoring it. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not ignoring it at all.
He didn't want to lock in on the fashion question. He said, Kevin, shut the hell up. I got my 7 screens
trying to
here.
log on.
I'm trying to log on. I'm trying to get my 2005 broke ass computer fixed.
2005.
Listen,
the tension is rising.
I'm aging. I'm older than all y'all. So like
I'm just not as good
at multitasking as I once was. I'm trying to listen, watch everything, keep an eye on chat, make Sarah happy because she made us these bracelets. Bobby is just consuming mass amounts of food.
You know what we need to do,
Mark?
Mark?
Stopped eating since this show began.
Let me make you happier. Today's Flag Day. All
It
right?
is Flag Day.
Today is Flag Day, and nothing makes Mark Stein happier than when you in the chat drop a flag in as a comment letting us know where you're watching.
Now that is a good idea.
Good point.
So everyone,
That is a
in
good
honor
idea.
of Cooper Flagg becoming
Yes.
a Dallas Maverick, drop a flag in the chat.
You better put your thinking cap on, Corella. I like what you're doing over there.
Go ahead and let us
Let's
know
go.
where you're watching from. Are you watching from the U.S.? You watching from Canada? You watching from Maine? Is there a
Yeah.
Maine
I
flag
was about
emoji?
to say,
What's the,
I
state, what's
actually,
the state flag?
I have Googled it. I literally had it up before you
the
said
state
that.
flag of Maine?
Would you guys like to take a guess as to what's on it?
It's
A
the
lobster.
Red Lobster logo.
Red Lobster's doing much
I
better these
think
days.
Are you
that-
guys aware that there are 2 other players from Maine who have played in the NBA?
Yeah. We are, Mark. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tanner.
What did the Nets just
the
do?
Brooklyn Nets seem very happy with what they have apparently done.
What's on the Maine flag, Tim?
I'm pulling it open for you.
Cool
Oh, my
trainer Pat
goodness.
TCG.
Is that-
Tell us what that flag is.
Is that's not
Pretty
Dominican?
good, right?
A tree?
Ooh, that's sick.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That
The
is
other one
sick.
has a tree on it. Well, this one has a tree in the middle as well.
They have 2 state flags?
Igor Demon to the Nets.
Whoa!
Igor Demon featured last week on the Stein line.
Top
wow.
10
Exclusive interview with Jake Fisher. We knew the Nets like him, but number 8
That is shocking.
and Malawatch on the board for the Raps at 9.
Wow.
Wow, that is
Shout out to
shocking.
Masai Jury. He's going to get the guy that he wants. Look at that.
That is legit.
I mean,
shocking.
does that surprise you?
Oh, it's
Yes.
Panama.
How
Yes,
much-
that is shocking.
That is shocking. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
He
Igor
was,
Demon
a
is
lot,
like
he was projected in the lottery, not
Yes.
at 8.
Okay.
Not at 8.
But I mean, okay. So here's the thing, though. If you're Brooklyn and you have a gazillion first-round picks, you're probably not expecting to be very good next year. If you like a guy, like who
Go
cares?
get him.
Yeah, who cares?
Go get him.
You got a lot of darts to throw. They could take Walter Clayton and Nolan Traore, and they could take all the other guards at 22, 28, 29, 30.
Yeah.
You know, like, why not? Just get them all. One of them will probably be good.
Or they could call teams like, hey, you want one of these guys that that's that we like here? Or,
Also, Cool Trainer TCG. Does that mean that you're a Pokemon fan? Let me know in the chat.
You were just eating and talking about games.
You were all over the shop today.
What's your favorite Pokemon, Mark?
Whichever one you tell me I should like.
I'm about to say, if you answer that question, we got a real problem here. Okay?
Rick Plaza.
We got a lot of flags. Got an Italian flag, a Spanish flag, a Mexican flag, a French flag, American, plenty of American, obviously, Australian.
And by the way, while you're here, please like the video. I need to see 100 likes,
Brazil.
please, in the next couple
I
minutes.
believe this one is Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. Panama.
Let's get to 100 likes real quick if you haven't liked the video already. Stein,
Yeah,
you
the
like
more
video?
the more likes this gets, the more people find it, and the funner chat becomes. Ooh, Gengar. That's a good favorite one. Totodile. Nice.
Igor
nice.
Demon out of BYU.
Probably the best passer in the draft.
And he's 6'8" or whatever. I mean, he's
Yeah.
very tall.
But like in that very specific way, a lot like Luka, have some concerns that not all the rest of the parts of his game necessarily add up. Certainly questions about his shooting, about his playmaking, not playmaking, but just like consistency of playmaking, defense, quickness, athleticism. But look,
And like Luka played at Real Madrid.
yeah,
One game.
yeah.
Played one
Yeah.
first team game. He is the word from the scouts. He is the best prospect from Real Madrid since Luka, which was in our piece. But it's amazing. He only played one senior game for the team. I think he was 17 at the time, and made the decision he was going to come to college to continue his career instead of staying in Europe. Pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty
and
amazing.
Look, so this is not like nearly as sure of a pick by any means as compared to, the guy that very superficially there's a few similarities to. Even kind of like looks a little bit like Luka in the face, haircut. But what I will say is that the league runs on 6'8" playmakers. Like if you hit on one of those guys, if you have one of those guys, you're gonna be good. There are
Best
pretty
thing
much-
you've said all night.
pretty much
I agree.
pretty much the top archetype you could possibly ask for in this league as it stands right now. So if you're Brooklyn, you don't have a clear direction in terms of you have players on your roster right now that you know are going to be there in 3 years, in 5 years. This is when you're taking swings like this. This is when, especially in a draft that you have 5 picks, this is when you are starting to go for high upside. This is the type of player that we think is, as likely to become a superstar for us as anybody else. Because
trivia question that
you
was
don't
not
win
on the screen.
without superstars. You do not win without superstars. I like it. I like it for them.
Trivia question that was not on the screen. BYU's last lottery pick before Igor Demon.
AJ DeBonsa.
That's next.
Wait,
that's
wait,
next
wait.
year, and he'll be number 1 probably.
Kyle Collinsworth.
No, he's playing next. Yeah,
Danny
next.
Ainge.
No, much
said
much
lottery
more
pick?
recent.
You said lottery
last
pick?
lottery pick. They showed former Mav Sean Bradley on the screen as the highest BYU pick ever at number 2. Who was the last lottery? This is a player you guys all know.
Yeah, Jimmer Fredette.
Jimmer Fredette,
Yeah.
number 10 to Sacramento.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we
Shout
go.
out to Diehard Eugene in the chat. Shout out to you, man. Miss you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And then also, JL says, let us pause the Mavs discourse and remember for a moment the great Dallas Sidekicks teams of the late 80s. I was born in 91, but I got vivid memories of those mid to late 90s Sidekicks teams. Tattoo, David Doyle, Shamu, Rusty Troy, the great Billy Phillips, and many more.
It's my favorite franchise in town, but can I just ask, how did that come up? Why are the sidekicks being brought
JL
up?
in the chat just mentioned them.
Lockenstein.
But I know, but what was the impetus?
Who knows? It's never a bad time to bring up the sidekicks.
Someone I know,
Agree.
somebody I know works with somebody whose father played for them.
Well, you know someone that used to work with one of those guys.
Wow.
I think
Or
if
you work with someone that used
I
to work
think if
with
you
one of those
actually
guys.
Yeah.
research the stats, you guys are sitting with someone who has played in one game for the
You
Dallas
have.
Sidekicks.
You have,
So
officially.
officially.
So now, Mark, are you saying you expect Toronto then?
yes,
if it's not Malawach now, that would
if
be
Toronto
a pretty
does
big
not
surprise.
take Malawach here, it is a major surprise because all the talk has been
Okay, and that also
That's who
means
Toronto wants.
presumably if they don't take him, that means Phoenix gets him, and we around here, we still don't really like those Phoenix Suns all that much.
That's very true.
And so anything that helps Phoenix is something that I personally am not in favor of. So let's go Raptors.
Phoenix needs a point guard desperately. Like, they desperately need a guard. Like, if Jeremiah Fears had fell maybe to 10, maybe that could have been a player that they consider. But knowing, check this out. So you see who's still
But
available.
they don't need a point guard. That's the other thing. They have 3 shooting guards. You can't add now. Maybe if the point guard's like 6'8". Actually, Dimon kind of made sense there. Like theoretically in a vacuum if that had how it kind of played out. But they kind of can't get a point guard because they're too small.
You know who they're
You
going
know?
to draft, though, right? You know who's still available?
Chase Richardson.
Chase Richardson out of Michigan State, baby.
Oh, what 5'11"?
I might have to dial into the PHN next show if they take it.
If the Phoenix Suns draft Chase Richardson,
But I do need to say,
like that would be my favorite pick of the draft. Outside of Cooper Flagg, that would be my favorite pick if the Phoenix Suns take a Michigan State
There's a
guard.
lot of activity at the Malawach table. There is a lot of activity at that table. A lot of
by
devices.
the way, did you guys see this? That Mark Aguirre broke down in tears
I saw
of
that.
joy.
Really? Yes, he did.
That he was because he's been estranged. From
Oh, no.
It was
I know.
while the Fire Nico chain
and
was
I
breaking
love Mark Aguirre.
out. Yes.
I mean, when you grew up not in Dallas, when you thought of the 80s Mavs, Aguirre, Blackman, Harper, Mark Aguirre was a monster.
a baller,
Was
man.
a monster.
Like, it's
Monster.
Is an all-time great Mav
certified
that has
bucket.
not gotten anywhere near his due. Very under-recognized, very underappreciated around here. And that is something that, as someone that used to work for the team, that didn't really sit right with me, that never really has.
Is there a
interesting.
very short version of what? Somebody at some point it's been explained to me and it still doesn't fully make sense. Is there a very short abbreviated version of what happened again?
Things went sideways while he was still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even in the 1988 season, whenever they went all the way to the conference finals and lost in Game 7 to the Lakers, the eventual
88.
champion, 88 conference finals, and lost to the eventual champion Lakers. And then a year or two later, he requested or maybe demanded or maybe definitely ended up.
Colin Murray Boyles? What? To the Raptors.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, and then it just back then, the Mavs had some stuff going on with Roy Tarpley. There was a lot of drama and concern and a lot of finger pointing, and that was kind of like the only stain on the model franchise. And then you have your team's potentially best or second best player, maybe battling with the coach, maybe battling with management, and then getting out of there, going to Detroit. That trade did not work out well for the Mavs at all. And there was no love lost between them afterward, and no one ever mended the fences. And, whenever Mark took over, he didn't really make a concerted effort to pay much attention to what happened before that era. It was all Dirk, it was all Nash, it was all Finley. And then they just never mended the fence.
Yeah.
So that pick is official with the Toronto Raptors. They select talented forward Colin Murray Boyles out of South Carolina.
Mark Stein is surprised.
I am stunned.
Wow.
And underlining everything by saying, guys, I am not a draft expert. Like you guys see me where I am fishing for trades. I am not the draft guy, but one thing we consistently heard was that Toronto huge admirers of Malawach. So like this, and this is fun. We want surprises. These last two picks have been completely unanticipated.
So is Phoenix about to get their center that they've been looking for quite some time?
What else?
And it's gonna be fascinating for the Suns because now they have their choice of big men. Like,
yeah,
this is the range in the draft that like we knew centers were going to be the priority. So yeah, Malawach, Queen. I think this is too high for Danny Wolf, Cato.
Depending on where you look.
Stein started to tap in a little bit. I feel Stein started to tap in a little bit.
It's honestly because of Jake and editing all of Jake's stuff. This is the only reason I know these players.
Jake has been
Jake is a draft maven
quite a bit.
Yeah.
So what I'll say about Murray Boyles is there are analytics people. There are analytic models that will tell you he's the third or fourth best player in this draft. He is a numbers darling. That is not to say that is the end-all, be-all. But
I like rebounds.
He is one of those players that he has slipped because the way he plays, the archetype, some NBA players are struggling to see, or some NBA talent evaluators struggle to see whether his specific archetype translates to the NBA. But statistically, what he's done in college, there is no question that he was godly as a collegiate athlete.
I'm getting Julius Randle vibe as I watched the highlights here a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of Julius Randle vibe.
Way better defender.
Yeah, I'm about to say the defensive part looks like it's gonna be a little bit better than Randle, but that's the immediate vibe that not just because he's a lefty, but he gives me, it definitely gives me Julius Randle vibe there. Also, the Toronto Raptors got another lefty. RJ Barrett, of course, still there.
Hurdle's lefty, I think, right?
No.
Hurdle's not lefty?
No.
Does he just finish a lot with his left?
Is he the one who switched to? No, that was one of the Plumlees.
That was one of the Plumlees that switched to shooting.
Who else?
Yeah.
Hurdle's not lefty?
No.
He would have made an all lefty team for Stein by now.
Good guess. Good presumption.
Wow. She's in disbelief.
So, of course, the Kevin Durant trade with Kevin Durant going to the Houston Rockets, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks going to the Phoenix Suns, the number 10 overall pick, which is on the board right now. Houston going to be making that pick on behalf of the Phoenix Suns.
We got a message from Cooper Flagg. Hey, Mavs fans, it's Cooper Flagg. I'm really excited to be a Dallas Maverick, and I can't wait to see you guys soon.
You send that to Tanner so he can play it?
We're not. It's 4 seconds.
Oh, it's 4 seconds. You read the entire message.
Yeah. Hey, guys, it's Cooper Flagg. I'm really excited to be a Maverick, and I can't wait to see you guys soon. Efficient.
It's a video.
Straight to the point. Inspired stuff from Cooper Flagg. Hey, guys.
It's your favorite guy. What's your favorite team?
It's hey
Cooper
guys,
Flagg.
what's up?
That is one thing I've kind of been to learn more about Cooper Flagg as this draft process has gone on. And I think, take the comment for what it is, but I think it's really funny because it seems like, but it will be funny. Cooper Flagg is boring as hell. Like, he is uber boring, but I kind of like that, honestly, because it seems like my man is about that action in that ball. He seems like a player that's going to come in. He's going to work hard. He's going to do his thing. But he's not exactly, Sarah, a man of few words. Cooper Flagg seems like the kind of guy that's going to come in and maybe robot-like Kawhi Leonard.
That's pretty boring to me. It's always disappointing whenever that happens. Hopefully he kind of gets a little more comfortable and is willing to, show some personality.
And Kawhi has opened up as the years have gone on, a little bit more as the years have gone on, but Kawhi was also bringing championships. So if he's a man of few words and he's bringing titles, cool by me.
It's a big if.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it is what it is. It looks like the Suns.
Jake Fisher reports.
The Suns are getting their center.
Your guy's gearing up, man. He's starting to flood the zone. Let's go, Jake Fisher.
He loves the NBA draft, that young man.
The pick is in, and the Phoenix Suns select Common Malawatch out of Duke.
Probably the best big man in the draft.
The Suns finally get their big man that they have been coveting for quite some time, and they get arguably the best one in the NBA draft. So
now it's, this is going to sound ironic coming from a guy that just watched Derek Lively be the best big man in most series on the way to the finals,
also
as
Duke.
A rookie, but it is really a big risk if you have playoff aspirations to play a rookie at center and give that guy a lot of minutes. It's just very difficult to call coverages, recognize all that stuff, anchor a defense, especially for a team like Phoenix, which I know they just got Dylan. There's a trade?
There is a trade, yes.
What is it?
The Charlotte Hornets are trading Mark Williams to the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, my God.
For the number 29 pick tonight and a 2029 first-round pick. So Mark Williams fetches 2 first-round picks in the year of our Lord 2025.
Well, 29 that's not really a first-round pick, let's be honest.
I mean, it's a first-round pick as of 8/18, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the 29th pick, though. That makes sense. No,
the number 29 pick tonight.
Sometimes
first round. So sure, it's a first round pick, but it's the 29th
Sometimes
pick.
a future first round pick ends up as the 29th pick, but you don't usually trade for a first round pick.
Yeah.
That it is actually the 29th pick actually does kind of tank its value.
And
but
2029
there is no
first-round
evidence
pick.
as of yet that, is there any way the Phoenix Suns keep both of these centers?
For sure. Yeah, because I was literally just saying you don't want to give a rookie all your minutes if you're trying to be good, right?
Yeah.
So then you get Williams, and then you get him. They still have Nick Richards, and they got Oso. They do have a lot of bigs. They got a lot of bigs. Maybe not. Who knows? I mean, it would be weird to trade picks for Mark Williams.
I mean, they took Malawatch, so this is a double center swoop for a team that
didn't have any.
They had Richards, but all the talk has been that Phoenix wants to upgrade at the 5, and I'm a Mark Williams fan. I really I know there's the injury concerns.
I'm about to say, if his medicals is good.
And, that's going to be.
He is very Ayton-y, which is funny. Phoenix is just revisiting that one. That's great.
Maybe they regret it.
I was thinking whenever they got Dylan Brooks that they might turn around and trade him for a big, to a team in Dallas. But it appears not to be the case. Maybe they're going to hang on to Dylan Brooks, and then maybe they're really going to go into the season with their starting lineup being Booker, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, power forward man X, and Mark Williams. And I don't know. I mean, you still have way too many guards, way too many guys that are 6'4".
Bradley Beal cannot be on that roster by the time they start this upcoming season. There cannot have him on that roster by the time we get to start.
I've got some Cooper Flagg Cooper Flagg news for you, Bobby.
All right.
Would you like to know who went to dinner? The Dallas dinner.
Oh, okay.
That Cooper Flagg went to. Which Mavericks players were there?
PJ Washington.
Yes.
Derek Lively the second.
Not according to this. Not according to Nick Angstad.
I'm
Who's he's at the draft.
Mike Marshall.
3 more players. No.
Najee.
Yes.
So PJ.
The knife. How can you have dinner without the knife?
At a steakhouse.
Big Dan Dan.
What if it's like a sandwich? No Dan
went to
Dan.
Dwight Powell.
The player
Yes.
dinner. The player
Brandon
dinner was
Williams.
No.
So PJ,
Clay.
Dwight,
Clay is not in Dallas.
and
Come on.
who else?
Najee.
And Najee.
And you're missing one more player.
Let's go with Klay Thompson.
No. Someone closer to his age.
Caleb Martin.
Closer to whose age?
Oh, Jaden Hardy.
Max Christie.
okay.
Shout out our guy Max Christie.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Max. Mad Max.
Just say the name Rolex. We got 3 hours to fill. All right, we got to play some guessing games when
That's
we
right.
can.
Do you think that table would order dessert? Do you think that's a dessert table?
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg doesn't seem
Cooper,
like a
PJ, Max,
dessert guy.
Dwight, Najee. Do you think Dwight like orders the wine where he's like, "Fellas, I got this"?
I bet PJ knows more about wine than Dwight. That's my hot take.
Interesting.
Oh.
Why so?
I just bet PJ looks like a guy that might know something about wine.
PJ got a lot of kids running around his home
See,
a lot of days.
I
so
feel
he
the
might not
same
be
way-
taking in too much wine because he's got to, stay wired. Well, actually, he probably is taking a lot of wine because he's got a bunch of kids running around. So there you go.
Actually, Dwight doesn't drink, so
Oh, wow. Okay.
that kind of
Breaking
eliminates.
news
Now that
with
this is
Takeda.
coming back to me, that definitely eliminates my theory.
He's spreading all sorts of hot goss.
I don't think it's a secret. I hope not. Don't tell him.
By the way, shout out to the nearly 500 of you watching us live
Let's
right
go.
now on the DLLS Mavs Draft Show Live. Cooper Flagg has
Oh,
officially
man.
been captured.
Malawatch is crying. This is awesome.
Good for him, man. Good for him. By the way, that makes now Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, Malawatch, all drafted.
3 in the top 10.
3 in the top 10 for the Duke Blue Devils.
And now it's to Portland, and this one is kind of interesting because this is where, like, a lot of the guys, like, okay, so Cedric Howard, Derek Queen, Noah Senge, there are a lot of guys that are like your draft nerds' favorite players are still around. And this is where you're starting to get to the point. There's a lot of East teams coming up, like Chicago and Atlanta and these teams that were in the play-in out East. Before we get to some of the teams in the West that the Mavs are trying to pass, not just that they're trying to hold off. GM Ben just spilled champagne everywhere.
Lock in, Ben.
He is fired up.
Jeez,
And so
man.
it'll be really
These
interesting
were
to
very
see, like,
small flutes.
OKC is potentially trying to trade up. Maybe everyone thinks that they're trying to trade up to get Cedric Howard, but now we're starting to get to the time where you're looking at what your ops are doing, and these teams that are in this late lottery, bottom of the playoffs area, this stretch from like 11-12 to like 18-19, where they might start trying to trade for guys that are on rookie deals. They might start trying to package vets and get an upgrade. So this is where we got to get a little nervous.
By the way, that pick with the Mark Williams trade from him going to the Charlotte Hornets to the Phoenix Suns, Tim McMahon reporting that 2029 first-round pick is the least favorable of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah. So
the Portland Trailblazers, this is according to Shams, they're trading Cedric Howard at number 11 to the Memphis Grizzlies. So like I literally just said,
wow, there
teams
you
here are
go.
making moves.
There you go.
And Cedric Howard, everyone thought, maybe not everyone, I don't know. I thought he was going to be a Thunder man. He is apparently going to be a Memphis Grizzly.
I mean, I think the
Memphis
Thunder
Grizzlies.
would have loved for him to be a Thunder man, but
Yeah.
this is exactly what you said. A lot of people know that he's a Thunder man.
Yeah.
And say what you will about how well run Oklahoma City is. They are so well run, and they absolutely are, that they have developed a type. And so even if teams around the league didn't necessarily have intel, and I'm telling you, in most cases, most teams have intel on most other teams. Not going to say that's always the case, but it's a lot harder to pull off the thing that used to happen where Dallas worked out Dirk Nowitzki and then literally just told Dirk to, stay in a dark room up until draft night and don't even breathe and definitely don't talk to any other NBA teams. Again, It is possible. It's absolutely possible. There are still hidden secrets in the NBA. But even if you had no clue that Oklahoma City was a Cedric Howard fan, you could just look at their draft history. You could just look at who Cedric Howard is, and you can say, all right, that is a team that is likely to take a player like that. So if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, and you want Cedric Howard, which you should. I love Cedric Howard. You just have to start talking to people around this range right now and see which one of them is potentially willing to make that little swing up.
Now Memphis has him, and I don't know if they're going to start him or not, but also Jalen Wells. They're loading up on defensive wings. And, I don't know if you log on to Twitter, Jaw's going to get traded, Jaren Jackson's going to get traded, the whole squad's getting traded, but if you get Wells and Coward out there defending like their butts are on fire, or their pants are on fire, and their butts by extension are on fire, then you have Jaren back there blocking everything, and Zach Edey being 8 feet tall. Like
That's funny.
that's a real nasty looking defense, man. And he's obviously not going to replace Desmond Bane's scoring like maybe ever. Certainly not right away, but I mean, I think I guess basically if you're hoping for Memphis to take a little step back.
Wow.
The fact that they're trading up or trading in, I don't know what they're giving up for this pick yet, actually. But, I mean, it means that they think that they have a shot to do something here. And that's a team that the Mavs would need to pass in order to get to the top 6.
Yeah, my pal Jake Fisher says that Coward is going to Memphis for 16, a future first, and 2 future seconds.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. That is a
Whoa,
lot.
to move up 5 spots?
That's
2
a
firsts.
lot.
That means
Wow.
they had to outbid
That
someone. They were outbidding someone.
Wow. That is a heavy haul to go get the guy.
And it's also possible the future first is not, we'll see what it is. Maybe they're fake seconds. But I would tend to agree with Bobby's quick analysis on this. Snap analysis. Quick doesn't. Smart analysis. Let's just go with that. I think the snap. Bobalysis. That's right.
That's right.
Indeed.
Yeah. I would tend to agree that it does seem like there's probably a few different people interested in that one.
Shout out to Eugene, who says Tim Cato looks so distinguished tonight. Shout out to you, Eugene, and Tim Cato. By the way,
thank you, Eugene.
Cedric Coward, first Washington State Cougar taken in the first round since
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson back in 2011.
Now, Cedric Howard played like approximately 12 minutes as a Washington State Cougar, and so he is a little bit of a man of mystery, but much like, this is to a different degree because he is like a much better athlete than Omax, but going into the combine, I don't think many people would have told you Cedric Howard was going to be a lottery pick. By the end of the combine, it was like, Cedric Howard might go number 1 overall. Omax going into the combine was like, this guy probably won't be drafted at all, and then ended up having an incredible combine and moves up quite a bit. And so
Now, I will say there were some people. I know Sam Vecini from The Athletic on his Game Theory podcast. He was very loud and vocal for quite a while that Cedric Howard should be way higher, was being undervalued by a lot of media members, media mock drafts, big boards, and said NBA teams were always higher on Cedric Howard. So I think it's a little bit of both. Both can be true. But that is the other very interesting thing, is that there are instances where teams are just higher than, maybe you realize if you just Google big boards. Or maybe it's just an instance where, shout out Sam Vecini. He was talking to the right people to correctly identify what actually happened, because here we are, Cedric Howard, lottery pick.
Cedric Howard got some good genes. His grandfather, former Olympic gold medalist.
I was going to be like, I thought he's kind of underdressed.
Grandfather, former Olympic gold medalist in the 4x400. So some good athletic genes there for Cedric Howard. Good for him.
Want to hit a break?
Oh, it's time for another break. It's been flying by.
It has been.
Yeah, let's take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs Draft Live Show here. Cooper Flagg has officially been captured by the Dallas Mavericks as the first round rolls on here on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
Nailing your draft pick matters, but keeping your money in your pocket and safe from scammers matters even more. Cash App is a safe, easy, and fast way to send, receive, and transfer money to family and friends. How easy is it to get started? Just enter your phone or email. There's no bank account that's needed. That might seem like, wait, is that just too good to be true? That sounds so insecure. No, it is secure and safe. Cash App has your back. If you're about to send money to a sketchy account that's blowing you up, a scam warning pops up, you feel way more relaxed knowing that Cash App has your back. It is fast, it's safe, and it makes life way less stressful. For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there is no catch. Just download Cash App right now and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code DLLS Mavs. Again, DLLS Mavs. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 cash dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That is Cash App. Let me also tell you about our friends at Shady Rays. You know that moment, the one when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away or maybe in the bathroom at the DLLS Sports Studios. I've been there too. Trust me. I lose glasses all the time. I go out to the park and play some disc golf or ultimate. They fall off my head. I go into my car and step out to fill up my gas tank, and I leave them right on the trash can as I'm bringing out the little squeegee. But then I found Shady Rays, and that changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. They are very good looking. They're good feeling. And when you feel good and look good, KG,
Play good.
that's right. They're polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear, because if you lose them or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DLLS35. That's a new promo code. Make sure you get it right. DLLS35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Tim Cato damn near just broke a bunch of stuff right on the screen. He is moving fast. Tim, did the Mavs make a trade? Tim, where's Tim?
Shout out to, yes, Empire Today for our Draft Day live show. Empire Today. 888.
We love floors. We love Empire Today floors even more. We also got the Cooper Flagg shirt.
800.
The Mavs captured the flag. That flag has been captured. Flaunt it.
Empire.
Shout them. Scout them. Tell all about them.
Today.
One by one till we've captured every single flag there is. Get your shirt. The link is in the chat. Get yours right now.
Appreciate all of you hanging out with us here on our Draft Day live show. Trade. We have another trade. The Atlanta Hawks are trading the number 13 pick in the draft to the New Orleans Pelicans. Oh, wow. To the New Orleans Pelicans.
What are you doing?
For the number 23 and unprotected 2026 first round pick.
Oh, my God, dude.
Most favorable of New Orleans and Milwaukee.
Joe Dumars is just doing whatever, dude. He's just vibing. Go get Trey Murphy right now. Get them on the phone right now. I am grateful the Pelicans are the new mark. It's no longer the Mavs.
Oh, I thought you meant Cuban.
Huh.
Cuban would never do that. No.
Dude, what are the Pelicans doing, man?
So, again, the Hawks are trading the number 13 pick in the draft to the New Orleans Pelicans for the number 23 pick and an unprotected 2026 first-round pick, most favorable of New Orleans and Milwaukee.
Dude, they are not making the playoffs this year. Book it. Book them. That can be my frosty take next summer. I don't care. Pelicans are not making the playoffs. The Pelicans' pick next year will be better than 13.
Maybe Joe Dumars got something cooking.
That is the 50 Nifty United States song. Good ear. Good ear.
Noah Essengay going to the Chicago Bulls. The French Revolution continues in the NBA. Of course, we saw last year the number 1 overall pick was Zachary Richichet. Prior to that, it was Victor Wembanyama. France continuing to make its mark on the NBA.
I think it really started with Rodrigue Beaubois.
Rodrigue Beaubois?
Yeah. That was, as far as I'm concerned, the first French NBA player.
There have been some terrific French players over the last quarter century.
But, well, relevant one.
Bobby's favorite. Actually, I'm not gonna do that to you.
Tony Parker.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna hold back, but because he's sitting next to me, I didn't want him to throw his hat at me.
He's not wearing a hat anymore.
He's got one next to him. Nicholas Batum, of course. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. Some terrific French players.
Boris Diaw?
Boris Diaw.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed Boris Diaw's game.
Just an
professional at work.
Unbelievable of New Orleans, dude. That is a.
You're really not feeling this at all.
No, I'm not. That's really, really, really bad. Unless Derek Queen, who they're reportedly going to take, unless he turns into the biggest thing since sliced bread. Like,
you think this is too much? If they shouldn't have done it at all, or just too much?
I mean, what reason is there to believe the Pelicans will make the playoffs next year?
Am I insane to say that Derek Queen has a lot of Zion Williamson in him? And I'm not insane to say that. Like,
you're not insane to say that at all. No, dude.
Like, those are the spaces they operate in the same spaces. So the reason I'm like couching this is because obviously nobody is 1-to-1 with Zion Williamson, but quite frankly, nobody in this draft is 1-to-1 with Derek Queen either. You know, Zion is a 1-of-1 athlete, but Queen is very 1-of-1 in his play style as well, and they need to operate inside the arc. Neither of them, you know,
team that already takes like 0 threes per game.
Right.
And Derek Queen is the pick for the New Orleans Pelicans here at 13. So
that's just tough,
now,
dude.
And unprotected to go get Derek Queen.
Good. Send all the good picks to the East. Like, just do it. Atlanta next year. Congratulations, guys. That actually really sucks, but it is what it is. I just, man, the Pelicans.
But
I don't
that's
get what
also
they're
the
doing.
thing. That's also the thing. If you're going up, if you're moving up to grab Derek Queen, and you're doing it with the vision that you're moving on from Zion Williamson potentially, maybe.
What does that depth chart look like for them?
But if you're trading an unprotected pick for next year,
yeah, that's boy.
I understand that Zion Williamson has not exactly been available enough to go into the season with him and be able to guarantee that you have success. But if you're trading who is your nominal, you know, the guy who's nominally your best player, then that is not exactly, you know, a sign that you're looking or that you're guaranteeing that you're going to contend. And then you're left with the scenario where are you just going to have both these guys on the roster, even though they kind of overlap with each other a little bit?
I'm not going to lie.
Maybe a little bit more than a little bit.
New Orleans roster is interesting, though, because I know how you feel about their roster. I'm looking at the depth chart, just kind of going through some of what they've done already. They obviously just drafted Jeremiah Fears, but they just traded for Jordan Poole. I mean, that's Space Cadet, but whatever. DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy III, Zion Williamson, your guy, or actually I should say Tanner's guy, Yves Missi. Nice young player there as well. So
how long is DeJounte out for? I genuinely don't know.
He'll be back next year because he was coming off the torn Achilles.
Will he be? Okay.
Yeah, so he'll be back this upcoming season. So
will he? Wasn't it kind of late in the year that happened?
That was last year. Was it? I can't remember the exact date on when he tore the Achilles, but
was it okay?
I think he'll be ready for this upcoming season. I believe. Tim, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he'll be ready for this upcoming year.
No.
When was it?
January.
Oh, it was January, so he'll be out.
I mean, he might be able to. He'll be able to come back at some point, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, West tore his in March and was ready for opening night. So I mean, it's possible that.
So let's say he's out until January. So we'll say he comes back midway through the year. So as it stands,
a little confused how Wes Matthews did that.
It was unbelievable.
They still got Herb Jones. They got Bruce Brown, Jose Alvarado. I mean, they've got some players on. I mean, we've talked about all the time how there's guys on the Pelicans that, you know, teams would covet. Trey Murphy III, Herb Jones being among them that are there. So I think this roster is a little more interesting that we might give it credit for.
Interesting is definitely one way to put it.
Yeah.
That's the word I'll go with, is interesting for them.
It's a bunch of players who are all have their strengths, but yeah, no, I don't see a cohesive fit right now.
They finished the year before last they went 49-33. That's really good season. They lost in the first round. They got swept by OKC. They lost the knife and they went from 49 wins to 21. Otherwise, they won 48 and 20 in 17-18. They haven't won. They've been really bad for a long time, dude. I don't know. I don't see it with them this year. I wouldn't trade an unprotected pick for a rookie. I just would not do that.
That's a team.
rookie big.
That's a team this summer. I'm gonna be on the. I have my eyes on. I have my eyes on.
I got to go refill. I'll be right back.
Oh, you had to crush the can to do that.
Efficiency.
Shout out to Andrea Carter, who's on the covers now for the Worldwide Leader. Terrific star in the media business. We appreciate all of you joining us here, though, on the DLLS Mavs Draft Day live show presented by Empire Today. The story of the night, of course, Cooper Flagg being taken number 1, Dylan Harper being taken number 2 by the San Antonio Spurs, VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor taken number 3 overall as your top 3 picks. Derek Queen has officially been selected by the Atlanta Hawks on behalf of the New Orleans Pelicans, who made a trade to go ahead and get Derek Queen, the talented center out of Maryland. So New Orleans making moves. San Antonio comes back in the first round, of course. They had the number 2 and the number 14 overall pick. What kind of we haven't heard from our guy Mark Stein in quite some time. We got anything cooking that is percolating that's piquing your interest right now?
I'm trying to chase some things that
I still can't get over how perplexing, to be kind,
what the
that
Pelicans
New
are doing.
Orleans. Yeah.
An unprotected pick next season is, whew. That's a heavy price to pay for the guy that they went and got.
Thinking you're going to be good in this Western Conference with that roster is just baffling to me. With that collection of players, with those skill set overlaps, without a cohesive identity or direction, in my opinion. But
I mean, banking on Zion to be healthy is a hell of a gamble. But yeah, they've got it's a very, like, again, I'll use the word interesting roster that they've got right now. But as you can see on our screen, the top so far 13 picks are in. Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe. Con Knipple goes number 4 to the Charlotte Hornets. Ace Bailey goes number 5 to Utah. Get your jacket, young man, and a coat while you're at it. Trey Johnson.
I mean, 8 through 13 has been pretty wild, and
yeah,
I mean, we knew there were going to be surprises and curveballs, but I would say we've seen more than we were expecting.
Trey Johnson goes to the Washington Wizards, the talented freshman out of Texas. Jeremiah Fears goes to the New Orleans Pelicans. Yordenham goes to, of course, the Brooklyn Nets. Colin Murray-Boyles goes to the Toronto Raptors. The Phoenix Suns get their big man in Common Malawak. And Cedric Coward going to the Memphis Grizzlies. Noah Essingate going to the Chicago Bulls. And Derek Queen going number 13 overall to the New Orleans Pelicans. That means San Antonio is back on the board, followed by the newly crowned NBA champion, Oklahoma City Thunder at 15, and then Memphis will be picking again at number 16. So we are just about halfway through the first round of the 2025 NBA draft. Any thoughts that immediately come to mind outside of obviously the headline of Cooper Flagg being taken by the Dallas Mavericks? I know we've
in the low line of New Orleans.
And the New Orleans, what they've done in terms of their surprising trade to go get their guy in Derek Queen, who the Atlanta Hawks made that pick on behalf of the New Orleans Pelicans there.
I mean, Brooklyn and Igor is still pretty notable, but that's like a reach. That's a reach even feels a little strong. It's I like it. I like it a lot. It was one of the first bigger surprises of the draft. And I really like it given situation. Again, I said I won't keep saying things about New Orleans. I like what Atlanta's doing. I like what Atlanta's doing a lot.
Okay.
It's all making sense to me so far.
The fact that Phoenix got not one but two big men, because not only did they get Malawak, they also made a trade to go get Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets. So they have upgraded their center position.
Carter Bryant.
In a big way.
Carter Bryant will be the pick here.
For the San Antonio Spurs.
Which is good because Carter Bryant was another Oklahoma City type player. that I could have seen them swooping
Yeah, so
in
it's
on
good that
with
he
the next
went
pick.
to a team that finished like 2 games behind the Mavs last year.
It's got Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, fair.
Awesome.
It's actually pretty annoying. That dude can play. Oh, wow.
No shirt.
What? He is raw dog in a suit jacket.
Well, it's not just
Okay,
that. You
Clarence.
guys notice it has no lapel.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it has no collar, no lapel.
Shirtless, lapel-less,
He
collarless.
is basically wearing a V-neck blazer.
What a look, man.
A
Wow.
V-neck blazer.
That's great stuff.
Sound like he's preparing for the
Is that-
the
would you-
Texas Heat.
I would say that that's purple, right? Is that purple? What is that?
That is a shade of purple. Yes, I would agree.
That's lovely. That's a lovely look.
What do you call that?
honestly.
Plum?
Are we saying this
Actually,
fit of the
Plum has
night
a-
so far?
Yeah,
has a
Carter
For sure.
Bryant, fit
No,
of
that's
the
a
night
great
so
look.
far? Okay.
That's a
Honestly,
great look.
I'd like it a lot more.
ambitious.
I don't like the lack of lapel. Now, if you put a lapel on that with that specific look, I might also then say, okay, that just doesn't look right. You got to remove it. But there's just something a little funky about that I'm trying to decide.
It's bold, man.
My man got
It's
some
definitely
swag
bold.
to him. I
What do you
like
think,
And
it.
I
Mark?
will say, if
You
you're
ever wear something like that? No?
It's supposed to say no in the mic. There
No.
you go.
Shout out to Nathan Quinn, who just signed up to become a diehard, by the way.
let's go.
Welcome.
I believe got the flag captured shirt. So
Let's
shout out Nathan.
go. By the way, make your move right now. $36 to become a diehard member. Intro offer $3 a month. Just $3 a month to become a diehard member right now. Make your move and join us here at DLLS Sports. Interesting note for Carter Bryant, just saw pop up on the screen there. My man had 29 college offers coming out of high school. So,
That court they just showed broke my brain.
so clearly a highly coveted prospect was Carter Bryant.
Dude,
there.
super long, super athlete, like a 72-inch vertical. Extremely long arms, decent shooter, and the Spurs, like, they got enough guys that can put the ball in the hoop and that can handle and everything. I mean, between Fox and Vassell and Castle and now Dylan Harper, and how are they going to find minutes for all of those guys? Are they going to make a move? They need defenders. They need defenders
Not gonna lie, I kind of like
and athletes.
Kind of like what the Spurs are doing tonight.
Me too. It's
kinda,
very annoying.
Kind of like what the Spurs are doing,
Especially because
tonight.
this pick was widely said to be available for other teams. So them keeping this pick and drafting Bryant is another, I would say, surprise in nothing but surprises over the last 7 picks.
Real quick, how close were we to having a Twin Towers 2.0 with Porzingis potentially going to San Antonio? How close was that?
The Spurs were definitely interested in Porzingis and were said to be looking at it closely. I don't exactly know what the outgoing package would have been, but they were a confirmed trade bidder for Porzingis, and Atlanta swooped in with more.
And KP posted that, like, he's good to go for Eurobasket, Mark, or at some point in the tournament. Like, to the best of your knowledge, is he lying on Maine, or will he actually be out there? Like, because obviously his situation, I don't know what it was, and I don't want to speculate or anything, but, like, it was shrouded in mystery, and it seemed very serious.
Yeah, look, I mean, he flat out announced he's playing for his national team. So, I mean, I think we have to take him at his word. And I know it means a lot to him to play for Latvia. But, yeah, I mean, the questions about his health, certainly until we see him back on an NBA floor without issues, I'm sure it's going to be posed. And I'm sure when the Hawks talk about this trade, that's going to be one of the main questions they get. But as everybody's been saying, the Hawks, it's funny, the Hawks dismissed Landry Fields and announced to the world, we will be hiring a president of basketball operations. And they did not do that. They elevated Ansi Salah to GM. They hired a couple new executives to assist him, but they did not flat out hire a new president of basketball operations. And that has not stopped them from making some major, major moves.
Now it's a big run of West teams.
Interesting note here coming from Joe Cowley, who covers the Chicago Bulls for the Chicago Sun-Times. They're reportedly looking to trade either Lonzo Ball or Kobe White.
I mean, look, at the trade deadline, they got tons of interest in Kobe White and swatted it all away.
I'll be really interested to see if they actually are willing to field interest in Kobe White. Lonzo Ball, when Lonzo Ball got that extension, it was a very tradable contract, and that's the way other teams around the league looked at it. So the notion that Lonzo Ball could be traded, that would not surprise me. Nikola Vucevic had a tremendous season last year. He's on a contract that pays him, scheduled to pay him a touch under $22 million for the coming season. Wouldn't surprise me if the Bulls get trade calls and ultimately move him. I mean, if they move Kobe White, that is a significant shift in philosophy for the Bulls, because the anticipation was that the way that Kobe White and Josh Giddey played together in the second half of the season after they traded Zach LaVine away, that the thought was that the Bulls were going to be building around those two guys in the backcourt. So if they're willing to break that up, they will get no shortage of interest in Kobe White, and that would be a significant shift.
Coming up here at the top of the hour, we're going to get to some of the Mavericks business that has been taking place over the last couple of days here. Obviously,
Right, Steve.
With Daniel Gafford's extension, obviously Kyrie Irving agreeing to a new contract as well. What is the Mavericks coaching situation as far as their assistant coaches are concerned? There's a lot to get into, obviously, on draft night. We'll be doing that coming up here at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock, as we are now at the halfway point of tonight's NBA draft, with the reigning NBA champion now, Oklahoma City Thunder, ready to make their pick at number 15. They'll be followed by the Memphis Grizzlies and then the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have a very interesting summer ahead of them as well. Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So they will be picking at number 17. So as Bobby mentioned, a run of Western Conference teams on the horizon here. Could the Mavericks find themselves trading back in to the first round? So still a lot of intrigue left in the second half of the first round of the NBA draft. Just as a reminder as well, we will be with you for the second round of the NBA draft tomorrow night as well. We won't be going for the entirety of the second round, but at the same time, we will still be here tomorrow. We will let you know what time we will be beginning that toward the end of our show. So a lot to look forward to as the rest of the week goes on. But the story, of course, Cooper Flagg, number 1 overall pick to your Dallas Mavericks, as he becomes the 5th Duke Blue Devil in the modern era to be selected number 1. He joins one of his teammates, Kyrie Irving, in that distinction. Do you remember who the first one of the modern era was, drafted back in 1999 out of Duke?
Ask the question again, please.
Who the first number 1 overall pick in the modern era was?
Elton Brand.
Elton Brand, that's right, back in 1999.
You know how I was saying that OKC has a very distinct archetype that they draft for?
They have a
I
type.
don't know anybody right now that perfectly fits that. Very curious who this is going to be. I haven't seen yet.
Thomas Sorbor,
Interesting.
center out of Georgetown.
Do you think he's sad to have to go to Oklahoma City, or do you think he's really happy
I
to
think,
be drafted?
I
Like,
think-
are those tears of sorrow?
I think that's
Like, no, I wanted Memphis.
he just got drafted to the
How
reigning
can you
NBA
be
champions.
sad with a sparkling jacket like that?
He's
That's
giving
true.
Carter
He is
Bryant
glistening.
a run. He's giving Carter Bryant a run
He is
for Clifton
glistening. That's a
tonight right
great
now.
look.
Projected to go as high as 15.
He's a great look. That's a great
yeah, I
look.
mean, he was kind of in the mix.
He's got braces. Oh, my God. How old is he? He must be so young.
Man, my man got a lot of bling on the jacket, in his mouth, around his neck, in his ears. My man,
No, is that I think is it braces or is it a grill? Is it braces?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Either way, my man is a walking, what's the thing you walk through? Thing goes
A
off.
tunnel?
Detector.
Metal detector?
Metal detector. Yeah, that's a walking metal detector right there. So,
That's Bill Duffy.
that is.
Indeed, it is.
One of the things,
Interesting.
and okay, this is one of the things that I have found interesting about watching Oklahoma City throughout the years, is they have, built their championship team now. You can start looking at guys that are on their roster right now and say, oh, I could see Casey Wallace eventually replacing, Lou Dort. Oh, I could see, such and such replacing, such and such in the lineup. This feels like one of those, hey, this could be a guy that eventually replaces Isaiah Hartenstein, if he, you feel like he's too expensive.
I mean, they probably are. This is Hartenstein as a player. They signed for a 3-year deal, knowing they had a window right now that 2 of their 3 best players are not on max extensions just yet. So I would say that is a smart guess here.
Yeah, I mean, they basically get to backfill their entire rotation for the next 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what this pick feels like. A guy that can like, hey, we can bring him along slowly. We got Chet, we got Hartenstein for another year or two, and next thing you know, here comes this kid, behind.
Yeah, and basically they're at a point where they're drafting not projects per se, but players they can bring along slowly to backfill, like you said.
Yeah.
Or they're drafting, more ready now role players. Or they're actually drafting prospects with really high, potential. It's a wonderful situation for Oklahoma City to be in. It's very fortunate.
Like the fact that they were able to win the championship with a group that's this young, and still having not even reached their prime as a core together, it's kind of disgusting.
2 hours to get through the first round, is that normal?
It's a 3-hour show, so yep.
It's 2 hours to get through the first half of the first round.
That's what I'm saying.
This is brutal.
Yeah.
They just hurry this up, man. Come on.
Our show's on.
Cooper Flagg joining the set on the worldwide leader, alongside his fellow Duke brethren, I should say, Jay Billis. Cooper Flagg. I'm surprised Cooper's still there, to be honest with you. Thought he might have skedaddled.
You would be so once you get drafted,
draft right now.
Once you get drafted, you get led straight off to a immediate interview, and then you just start going room to room,
car wash type thing,
to room. NBA social wants you. Sirius XM, the NBA's official, voice.
Yeah, their
they
table
want
is
you.
like right there, like on the floor.
You're probably going to get interviewed by an NBA documentary team. You're probably going to get interviewed. You've got a ESPN interview lined up. This is happening in 2 hours into the draft, or like 2 hours after the pick was made. But this literally, he has been going room to room to room. He did a media session with local reporters. He probably did one more, kind of more open reporter type thing with various people. He filmed that little video for Mavericks fans.
Yeah.
Sure, it was 4 seconds long, but the process of a social media person, a Dallas Mavericks employee who's in New York right now saying, okay, now we're going to get you for this. Can you just say something to the fans? And he's like, okay, well, what do you want me to say? And it's like, oh, just say whatever. And, so that's 3 minutes. And then it's also just walking the hallways. You got to go from here to here to here. There's also a situation who's probably waiting 10 minutes. I remember following Luka around. I was in the draft for the Luka interview, or the Luka draft. And yeah, it's just spot to spot to spot to spot to spot. And, where the press conference room is might be in a very different place than anywhere else. He's also going to hop on the phone. Sometimes, Mavs PR will put a player in New York on the phone for reporters back in Dallas. I don't think that happened with Luka, and I'm not sure that's going to happen with Cooper, but certainly in other instances. It did happen with Luka?
Yeah.
Okay. So at some point, Cooper may talk over speakerphone, literally on, Allen or Victoria. Actually, I'm not sure who's actually at the draft or who is here. Probably Allen or Kristen, maybe one of them will literally just, hey, guys, Cooper is on the phone. We got 5 to 8 minutes, but then it's local reporters asking him questions. As you can see, there is a lot to do. Also, at some point in this, I am sure Nico Harrison and the Mavs front office, maybe they want to call him and say hello. Maybe Cooper is like, I need 20 minutes. Now, in this instance, he knew he was going to Dallas. I'm sure his phone is blowing up. But for a pick that went 3 or 4, or a pick that goes anywhere that is not like locked in, projected, there's always going to be moments where you're talking to a million, different people. And so, yes, you have so many responsibilities after the draft. I would imagine he probably is nearing the end of it, and he may indeed get to sneak out before this actually ends. And obviously, players later in the first round may not have quite as many obligations, but in a lot of instances they will. This thing, even when it wraps up, there's still going to be things ongoing, probably an hour after, the last pick is announced. It's just amazing. It's amazing once you're behind the scenes and you really see how many things are asked of these people. Like I said, the funniest one is just, NBA social.
Yeah.
Wants you in. And, when I was there for Luka, when I observed that for Luka, I remember that was the one moment that he seemed really fazed by everything because they were asking him to do TikTok dances. They were asking him to, make funny faces, to pose this way, to pose that way. It's 10 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that, of them just starting to fill up, a lot like Media Day where they film all these little transitions that you see on television, broadcast, etc. There is a lot that goes into it.
The number 16 pick is in for the Portland Trailblazers. They select Hansen Young. So there you go.
That is a big surprise.
It is way higher than he has been projected.
Yeah, so basically to give you an idea, the NBA sends out like a media guide for the draft with all the names and stats and everything. Dude is not in there. So that lets you know how high of a pick. Now, he did average 16.6 points, 10.5 boards for Qingdao in the CBA, that is the Chinese league. Last season, 58% from the floor, 33 from 3.
Oh, he's at the draft too. Look at there.
7'2", 250. Turns 20 tomorrow. How about that?
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Happy early birthday, Hansen. So yeah, big surprise. But
big boy.
Here's the little spin on that. Portland has DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams and Donovan Clingan, and they just took a center. Now I don't know if they plan on stashing this dude or if they're going to trade Ayton and Williams, as they're reportedly considering, and maybe going with Clingan and Young, and those guys combined are about 74 feet tall.
Golly, man.
So that's a lot of size.
10-inch hand length. My man has got massive hands. That's crazy. We have reached the top of the hour, just past the top of the hour here, as we are live on the Draft Day Live show presented by Empire Today. Your man, Kevin Gray. That is our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Krill. That is our National NBA insider, Mark Stein. And our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. Our guy, Tim Cato, going to be leaving here in a little while, as we're expected to hear from Mavericks president and general manager Nico Harrison at the conclusion of the night. So he'll be speaking to reflect on the drafting of Cooper Flagg, who, of course, went number 1 to your Dallas Mavericks. But there's been a lot of business that has already taken place with this team leading up to the NBA draft, including Daniel Gafford getting a 3-year, $54 million contract extension with the Mavericks, Kyrie Irving agreeing to a 3-year, $119 million deal nearly at the buzzer yesterday as his player option of $43 million. He had a chance to choose whether to opt in or opt out. He opts out and takes a new deal with the Dallas Mavericks and a potential shakeup further with the coaching staff for this upcoming season as well. So let's start to dive into some of that with our national NBA insider, Mark Stein, who's been busy on the phones, on his laptop, trying to get the latest intel throughout the rest of draft night here. Let's work backwards. Let's start on the coaching front and start with where we are. We have already seen Mavericks lead assistant Sean Sweeney take an associate head coaching position with the San Antonio Spurs to team up with Mitch Johnson, first-time head coach for the Spurs. What is the latest when it comes to Jared Dudley and also player development coach God Shamgar, who is being hotly pursued by Orlando? There's conflicting reporting out, and I hope you can clarify when it comes to Jared Dudley's situation as well and what's happening between him and Cleveland there.
Jared Dudley has not yet been offered a job from another team, but he, as I've been reporting, I don't know, well over a week now, he is a finalist. Memphis brought him in. Memphis is looking for a top assistant to Thomas Isalo. The 3 known finalists, Jared Dudley, Adrian Griffin, of course, formerly the head coach in Milwaukee, and he's been an assistant in many places, and of course a former Mavericks player, and then Dale Osborne from Orlando. the Grizzlies, to my knowledge, have not yet formally offered Jared Dudley a job, but the Cleveland Cavaliers are also interested in Dudley because they lost Jordan Knott from their staff, who became the Suns' new head coach. So the anticipation is that Dudley is likely to be offered one of these posts. I know the Mavericks are hopeful that Jared Dudley stays. They want him to stay. Jay Triano has been hired to replace Alex Jensen. So at this point, the only opening on the front of the bench is the number 1 chair. As I reported right after news broke that Sean Sweeney was indeed going to San Antonio, the natural move, and again, the full expectation is Jason Kidd and Frank Vogel are very close. I fully expect Jason Kidd to sound Frank Vogel out to see if he has any interest in taking the Sean Sweeney role as top assistant and head of the defense. The Mavericks have been running a defense that is based on some Frank Vogel principles since Jason Kidd and Sean Sweeney arrived here in tandem, because Jason Kidd was that much of a fan of Frank Vogel's defense when Kidd was an assistant to Vogel with the Lakers. I don't know if the Mavs will be successful in convincing Vogel to take that job because, again, he is still getting paid by the Suns. He was a consultant to Kidd last season. Based on everything I know, he really enjoyed being a consultant. So the Mavericks will now try to lobby him. Will you come on staff full time? If that doesn't work, they're going to have to make the decision. Do they pursue a number 1, or do they just move Jay Triano and Jared Dudley up and maybe pursue a number 3? And then the other story is, as you mentioned, God Shamgod. He has, based on what I'm told, very strong interest from Orlando. I think the Mavericks have to brace for the possibility that he's going to take that job in Orlando. It sounds like a really strong opportunity, and I think there is a fear/anticipation that they're going to lose God Shamgod, which he's a very popular assistant coach with a number of players on this team, but at the top of the list is Kyrie Irving. I mean, Kyrie Irving and God Shamgod are, they've known each other for years and years and years and years. So if God Shamgod were to go to the Magic and take that job, that certainly would be surprising given his closeness with Kyrie. But, you said it. I mean, they got a new deal done, agreed with Kyrie. They can't actually sign it till July 6th, but that was massive. That was a massive thing for the Mavericks, because if Kyrie Irving does not opt out and take a longer-term deal with a lesser salary in year 1, the Mavs cannot unlock the 5.7 mid-level exception, and they're trying to go after point guards with minimum contracts. As it is, even with the 5.7 million taxpayer mid-level, even with that, their options in the free agent market for point guards are not exactly robust. I reported this morning they are already being seen as a leading suitor for D'Angelo Russell. I think D'Angelo Russell is at the top of the list.
I'm about to say, how serious is that interest there?
It is serious. I mean, they can't actually act upon it and go after him until free agency starts Monday at 6 p.m. But my sense is that they will be a very strong suitor for D'Angelo Russell. I also reported last night Dennis Schroeder, who is the free agent that the Mavericks would love to go after and other teams would. Dennis Schroeder is going to command most likely close, if not all, close to the 14.1 full mid-level that teams have when they are not a taxpayer. And I've already heard Sacramento is going to be a strong pursuer of Schroeder, and the Pistons want to keep Dennis Schroeder. The Mavericks have known for a long time that they were not going to be a factor in the Schroeder bidding. There was just no way they were going to be able to create the needed financial flexibility for that. They can make a bid for Russell. Malcolm Brogdon is also in that price range. Chris Paul is thought to be in that price range, but I think there's pessimism that, would the Mavericks be able to convince Chris Paul to come to Dallas? We've heard Chris Paul, he spent last season with the Spurs, played all 82 games, but Chris Paul has
openly spoken of his desire to be closer to family, and that family is in Los Angeles. So I think the Mavs would certainly be interested in Chris Paul if they could get him. The read at this point, and again, we're not even through the first round of the draft. Free agency does not start until Monday. The read I'm getting at this point is that it would be more likely that D'Angelo Russell is available as opposed to Chris Paul. And look,
What did the Mavericks like about D'Angelo Russell?
that he can run your team. That he can run your team. I mean, the Mavs know they're not going to see, most likely are not going to see Kyrie Irving before January, and maybe even longer than that. And they want a lead guard who they know can run their team. And based on my sense,
No is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I know you're just reporting, but No is carrying a lot of. Yep. Sorry.
did I say what?
No, you said that they know can run a team.
No,
Like,
I thought you meant N-O
Okay.
as opposed to K-N-O-W.
no, I mean no, but also no.
Yes, you've made it clear that
He
that
could have
is-
said the same thing about the word
so
run.
based on the taxpayer mid level,
Run is doing a lot of
Who do
work.
you want?
So the issue for me, so I've thought about this a lot today, and I've been going back and forth with a lot of fans and stuff. If they use the taxpayer mid-level, that means they are hard capped at the second apron. And as it stands right now, if you use that full taxpayer mid-level, you have about $1 million, give or take $100,000, until you get to the second apron. And again, you're hard capped there. This season, they were hard capped at the first apron. And by like early March, we were like, oh my God, I cannot believe they're hard capped. They can't even field a competitive team right now. And so not only would you be, in my opinion, getting a player that is not good. Like, I think D'Angelo Russell is a bad player. I do not trust him to run a team. I do not trust him to be on my team. He is not a good playoff player. He is, in my opinion, he's not a starting caliber player in the NBA, and he's been around for 10 years, so there's plenty of evidence to back that up. I just think the trade-off of having him versus getting literally anyone else, or pursuing a point guard via trade, or just signing multiple guys from the minimum, like, I think that he's a worse facilitator than Dinwiddie, significantly worse defender than Exum, and I think he's less efficient and less effective than Brandon Williams with the ball in his hands. You can have all three of those guys for the minimum or close to, or you can just get one of them who's not as good as any of the other guys at anything in Russell that will make what they could combined. And I do not like that at all. I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel about it.
No, look, I mean, that's what we want. We want your unvarnished takes and your unvarnished view. I mean, I still think there's a place for Exum here, even if they do make that signing.
They need to clear money for that.
They need to clear money, and they need to clear minutes from their rotation.
So, I mean, I don't want to connect too many dots or whatever, Mark, but I mean, I think that's the first time that we've talked about Exum, like, having prospects of coming back. I think we've all kind of been at least like sort of alluding to this idea that Dinwiddie and Exum are both just gone. They're just gone. But that might not be the case.
I've never thought that Exum was just gone. I wouldn't expect Dinwiddie back, but based on everything I understood, the Mavericks remain interested in Exum. You know, we constantly hear these European teams talking about Exum. Exum wants to stay in the NBA, and I think he wants to be here. So,
real quick, we have a trade. The Washington Wizards are trading Walter Clayton Jr. at number 18 to the Utah Jazz. So interesting there. So another guard headed.
That's high for Walter.
I was going to
Clayton.
say.
I thought he was a late first rounder. I thought,
mid 20s, even early 20s, but the teens for Walter Clayton.
Yeah. So the Florida guard is going to be going to the Utah Jazz. So interesting there.
Bobby for assistant coach. Is that your burner?
No, I'm no. You don't want me coaching or managing. I'm not the most negative in the room. I mean, D'Angelo Russell's been in the NBA for 10 years. He's not good. Like he had a good season for a bad Nets team a really long time ago.
Y'all thought I would lose it on Spencer Dinwiddie after a Space Cadet game. Imagine what D'Angelo Russell would do.
Well, I mean, like I think there's this sort of like this idea for guards that are more offensive-minded guards, less defensive-minded, less, he's had some decent assist seasons, but he's definitely more of like a bucket-getting guy. And kind of the way you live with that is, okay, the highs are going to be really high, even if the lows are low. Like the highs are so high that it's worth it. But for him, the highs aren't especially high. Like he's not going to get you 40. He's not even going to get you 30. So it's like, so then what is the high? If the high is like a pretty good Brandon Williams game, then just give me Brandon Williams. And it's not so much the player specifically either. It's that if the Mavs are going to essentially prioritize playmaking, which in my opinion is the most important thing you can have on a team, if they are going to say that we only value this so much that we are going to use essentially the least valuable thing we have to address this need, and it is a need because right now they have one healthy point guard on the team, and that was Brandon Williams, who was on a two-way deal last year, and is not, I think he had a really good stretch for the Mavs last couple months. He definitely looks like an NBA player, but he hasn't done that for 82 games. He did it for like 20 on a team that won like 5 of them. And if they're going to say we think that we're good enough or we value playmaking little enough to use the taxpayer mid-level exception to address that glaring issue on our team, and instead we're going to load up on 4s and 5s in a league where all of the good teams load up on wings. They load up on skilled, multidimensional, versatile, switchable, good shooting, good ball handling wings. It just conflicts with my basketball convictions.
Well, I think that's two separate things. I mean, loading up on bigs, going away from playmakers. I mean, I think we've all discussed that a lot. But in the Mavs' current situation, I guess my question is, so you would just sign minimum players you like better as opposed to?
Well, I would pursue trades. I would not.
That's
I
the
would
thing.
not sign.
Yes.
I would treat that position as something that commands attention and investment, and not as something that we'll just try and patch up until Kyrie comes back.
Right.
And so Lonzo Ball has been discussed a lot as a trade target. I think he's reasonably gettable, but like, even if you
I would rather do that than get D'Lo.
Even if you get Lonzo Ball, I mean, Colin Sexton is a lot pricier. I mean, if you get
it's worth it to me.
If you get Lonzo Ball, I like that too, but then you are inviting the injury risks and worries into your situation.
It's worth it to me because at least in the frankly unlikely event that Lonzo was able to unfortunately string together several months of being healthy and available, what you're getting is pretty good defense and pretty good playmaking, things that Russell, and I'm not trying to dump on the guy or anything, but has just never really done before.
What point Bobby's making though I want to spin off of is just talking about D'Angelo. And yes, once upon, there was a season D'Angelo averaged 23 points a game. A couple seasons ago, he averaged 18. I think that we are all smart enough basketball people. I think all of you in the chat are smart enough basketball people to understand and accept that, a big scoring number, a big scoring average, and the statement that he does not help you win at basketball are compatible statements. We're at a point that we can look at a player's totality and not just say, well, he scored a bunch of points, he's good. He scored a bunch of points, so we must be able to help them. He scored a bunch of points, and, well, they need a guard. There has never been a point in D'Angelo's career, maybe a season or two, at best, as I'm kind of scrolling through and looking at all these numbers. One season, another one where he was close to league average efficiency. And so basically efficiency is not trying to be it's in the modern NBA, it's not that the game is run on spreadsheets. It's a question of you've got a lot of talented players on your team. D'Angelo Russell is somebody who is coming in to take shots. That is his mindset. That is his ethos. There has been no team anywhere that D'Angelo Russell has not got his shots. Is him taking those shots the best option for Dallas? And him playing all those minutes at guard with him taking those shots, is that how to maximize the Dallas offense? Because if D'Angelo wants to go score, 15 points a game, if you want to give him 15 shots, because that is the reality of the situation that we're looking at, because Kyrie's going to miss half the season, if not more. If that is the scenario that you're buying into, it's just, are you maximizing every other part of your offense? Is D'Angelo the guy who is going to make sure that Cooper Flagg is being helped, that he is having a better job getting better shots. So this is kind of half a take. I'm not really, I agree with a lot of what Bobby said, but I guess I hear the part about D'Angelo,
I
and
just
I
think
know what
constructing a trade for Sexton is easier said than done. And so
he's not the only player though, you
Right.
know, but that's also why just backtracking several months, I would not put myself in a position where I have to make a move to get a guy to have two players at that position. You know what I'm saying, Kevin?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. But also I think real quick, Tim, the Mavs' moves, like, okay, so keeping Brandon Williams, getting Goatman in here, going for a guy like Dinwiddie, obviously Kyrie and Luka before those guys, it seems like they view basically the guard, in particular the point guard spot, as like the scorer, and everyone else is kind of like the supporter. Like Najee, whenever he was the point guard, he was scoring. Like even a guy like Najee, who was not known as a scorer. And so I think conceptually, philosophically, they view the guard as the guy that gets the shots, and less so as the guy that defends the point of attack. Previously, they had Dorian for that. They had Derek Jones for that. And they've had some other guys, Josh Green, even try and do that, and to varying degrees of success. Excuse me. And so I just wonder if that's how they view it. They view scoring at the guard position as something that's more important than perimeter defense, than facilitating, than ability to play off ball, and all those other things that personally I value. Now that's just a disagreement, but I also think that if you do get D'Lo as opposed to a player who's better on defense like Sexton or Lonzo Ball, which would granted require more of an investment, but to me is worth it, you're getting a guy that is able to defend at the point of attack, and they don't have, at this point, they don't have anyone else on the team that can do that reputably. Like, and you have to be able to defend at the point of attack because there are so many freaking good ball handlers in this league. It's not just one guy, it's everyone. And so if one guy beats you, you're in rotation. You have a bunch of bigs that don't want to defend in space, that might have a hard time covering ground, closing out, defending guys on closeouts. And so it's not even the first thrust that will beat you. It's the second or it's the third. You're going to give up open threes. You're going to give up a lot of open threes. And that will cost you even against lousy teams like D'Lo's last team, the Brooklyn Nets. Russell had a pretty good game for the Nets, but the Nets they shot 50 threes. They knocked down 20 of them against the Mavs, a game the Mavs were trying to win in late March. And the lousy Nets beat them because they got hot. They got so many open threes, and I'm really worried that not prioritizing point of attack defense and instead prioritizing, frankly, inefficient offense from the guard spot is just, I don't think that is compatible with winning. I don't think that's the right way to go. I just disagree with it.
Yeah.
Well, I just checked with our pal Keith Smith, the cap maestro, just to see if the Mavs use the 5-7, what else can they do? And he, based on his quick running of the numbers, they would be able to sign one more minimum, and so
they would have 15 guys under contract.
Right,
so they'd have
so
to get rid of
they're gonna make a roster move
right now, right? Yeah,
they're gonna have to make a roster move. But my instinct would be that they bring back Exum as well, and so you would be adding D'Angelo and Exum to Brandon Williams, and that's your 3-guard rotation until Kyrie. Your 3 theoretical point guards until
again,
Kyrie
not rotation.
comes back.
We are fast running out of minutes.
Also knowing,
the Traore pick, by the way.
Also knowing that Najee has played plenty of point, and they can go to that option as well.
And Frank, I prefer Najee to Brogdon and D'Lo and not necessarily Chris Paul, but
look, if you can get Chris Paul, that would be my first choice in this situation than trying to construct a trade for Sexton. But I also just
Ben, any last words?
Yeah,
It was fun. It was fun talking.
Great work.
Yeah, we were kind of locked in. At some point, we were gonna.
What'd you guys think of GM Ben in the host chair?
Hey, we have a new T-shirt for sale. Right?
We
Get
do.
one.
We do.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
They're actually selling really well.
Are they? They're selling really well. So get you one. Get you one quick. Who are you willing to give up for a guard that's going to come off the bench when Kyrie returns? I mean, I've gone on record, and I know Daniel Gafford is obviously very popular among a lot of Mavs fans, but I would trade from my position of strength and my position of excess to address a position of need. And I value starting playmakers and backup playmakers. And you're not getting a backup. You were getting a starter because Kyrie is going to play 25 games this year if he's lucky, frankly. I would trade backup bigs and frankly non-shooting players. I would trade non-shooters for starting guards any day of the week. Any day of the week.
Love your conviction, man. You
It's
like
just
what
my
you
take.
like.
It's my take.
You
man.
want what you want.
Yeah, it's my take. And as for options, I mean, for trading guys, I mean, Sexton is one. Obviously, Lonzo Ball is the one that we've talked about. I don't know what Memphis plans to do with Cole Anthony. I'm not a huge Cole Anthony guy, but I believe he's better than D'Lo. Jordan Poole and CJ McCollum would have been funny, but you could have talked me into that for 1 year, especially McCollum because he's on an expiring. I don't. It's really tough. I cooked up a deal for Anthony Simons earlier this summer, and Drew Holiday, Derek. I would offer the house for Derek White. Mavs might not be able to win a bidding war though because they don't have many picks. So I mean, it's really tough. It's definitely not easy, and I'm not trying to say that it is easy. I'm not trying to say that Nico is a dumbass for not seeing something that is so very clearly obvious. I'm just saying it's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot.
I'm sorry, I was looking at a couple things.
Sourcing call.
Social media wise.
It was a lot more convenient, or this team construction was a lot more convenient a couple seasons ago when they had a starting three who guarded ones.
Yep.
That's a really sneaky, valuable skill set to have in a league where a lot of your ones are poor defenders, or maybe not even poor defenders. Maybe they're just players that you don't want always guarding the opposing one. So anytime you have those guys who are big enough to play three and match up with a lot of guys, but also definitely can slide down and guard, that is so useful, so valuable. One of those sneaky archetypes that I don't know if there's like a name or how much people refer to it.
A versatile defender. And I mean, that's why I would take, for the team that the Mavs previously had, I would take Derek Jones over Najee for that reason, because he can do that and he can start even if he's less dynamic offensively. He can do that on defense. And
you finally said your take.
I did, and dude,
you said it to me, and the reason I wanted him to say it on the show is because I actually do think people in the chat may disagree. I do think a lot of people after Najee's season
on the Luka and Kyrie team. On this team though, Najee.
Yeah, all fair. But in a vacuum, you would probably take Derek Jones. I mean, I guess that's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, blank slate. I value point of attack defense more than dribble drive game. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of
playmakers,
drivers.
dude. I moved on from Luka the night they traded him. I literally said, trade him. I don't care. Just get more back. Like, you got to let go thinking that I have not let go. Like, it's very weird and parasocial.
Fellas, here's something that isn't very social of me. I'm thinking about making my move over to where a forthcoming Nico Harrison press conference will be happening at some point tonight. I'm going to be honest, I don't have too much. I mean, I might just ask, like, you raise my hand, get the microphone, and then just play that entire monologue you went on, Bobby.
I'm sorry, it was probably really long.
And then ask him to respond to it. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, like this is not a situation where I absolutely will have questions for Nico Harrison. They should have a after free agency press conference. I don't need.
They probably will, right?
Not typically. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
I mean, they had a Clay one, and they usually have that, like, introduce the new guys.
Okay, fair.
Granted, Nico didn't talk after the Clay one, right?
Yeah.
Or did he? I think he did, didn't he?
He may have.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, and they had Najee
That's
up there
the more
too.
interesting one, because that, we were hearing a lot about what may happen, but, I'm not, obviously this is not a presser to ask what may happen. So, chat, do you have any Cooper questions that you'd be interested in hearing from Nico Harrison? And I know some of this is going to be people saying they don't want to hear from Nico in any context. But yeah, I am open to ideas. And as I start making my way there, I'll give it another pick or two. Let's see what Utah does. Then I think I may head that way.
Okay.
It's been a lovely little time hanging out with you fellas, though.
We know you got work to do this evening, and the president and general manager of the Dallas Mavericks will be speaking in the not too distant future to address the fact that his team has secured and captured the flag on this Wednesday night. So really appreciate all of you hanging out with us here on the DLLS Mavs Draft Day live show presented by Empire Today. Terrific sponsor with us here at DLLS Sports. So shout out to Empire Today. We are moving right along through the first round of the NBA draft coming up here momentarily. Jason Kidd finally said Cooper Flagg's name. You're going to hear it and see it here momentarily. So I'm sure Mark Stein's been waiting to hear Jason Kidd actually say Cooper Flagg's name. You'll hear that coming up here in just a moment as the number 1 overall pick has had a chance to speak with his head coach. Was actually asked during his press conference as well by Zach Gelb, who hosts a radio show nationally on the Infinity Sports Network, about if Cooper Flagg has been given any assurances by Jason Kidd that he's staying in Dallas. So I thought that was a very interesting question posed to him. So we may have that audio a little bit later on.
Kasparis Yakuchonis.
Tanner.
Hello, Tanner. Hello, Tanner.
What was that for?
Tanner wanted some screen time.
Yeah.
He wanted some screen time.
Did I nail that one?
You got to hit the bell when you show yourself.
Hey. Tanner is not a Utah loss.
Tanner is never a loss. That's right. You got it. You definitely got it.
He's proving to our national bosses that he is at work tonight. Like, no, I'm here.
Right.
I'm here.
I think he is establishing an alibi.
He's actually here.
Little do the authorities know that Elijah was actually running the show up until this very moment. We have no clue. We have absolutely no clue where Tanner was when the crime took place.
Here are the very first moments.
Well, let me pop out. Let me bid y'all an official off to work a little bit more in a different location.
Right. We appreciate you hanging out with us here. Make sure you follow our guy Tim Cato at Tim_Cato, our Mavericks beat writer. He's headed over to the American Airlines Center right now to prepare to hear from Mavericks president and general manager Nico Harrison. Appreciate your time, Tim.
Absolutely. If for any reason it goes early, I'm going to be sure to hop back on with you guys for a second to talk about. But the plan is for it to go after the draft, so stay tuned. We'll write a little bit about it on DLLS sale going on right now, and on we go.
Appreciate it. That's our guy Tim Cato. You'll hear from him tomorrow as we will have round 2 of the NBA draft here on the DLLS Mavs show.
Bye, Tim. If you have some takes, if you have some more takes,
they
were good. They were good. Yeah, they were good.
No.
Let's hear from Cooper Flagg and Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd. Mark Stein, here you go. Jason Kidd saying Cooper Flagg's name for the very first time. Take a listen and watch.
Hello.
Hey, Coop.
What's up?
Welcome. What's happening? Congratulations again.
Thank you.
You can breathe now. Were you getting
Yeah.
Were you starting to sweat a little bit?
Was I? It's been all day. It's been hot, man, but I'm excited.
Hey, welcome to the Mavs family. We're excited. We can't wait. We can't wait for the press conference. And I think that number 32 looks good on you.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
And then golf is on you the first time we go out. You gotta pay.
How about winter?
Okay.
What's on the
done.
winter? All right.
Done. Hey, enjoy tonight. Enjoy the family.
Thank you. Yeah, I will.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. We'll see you Friday.
All right.
All right.
Well, there you go. A couple pieces of notable information there. Coop. Jason Kidd went with the Coop for Cooper Flagg. And
Well, I think
didn't
you
I
can
call
tell
it?
that- I think
you did call it. Yeah, you called it Coop.
I think you can tell they already know each other a little bit.
Yeah, the golf, golf outing on the way. And it sounds like Cooper Flagg will be in Dallas on Friday. It sounds like Jason Kidd saying at the end of that we'll see him Friday. So
I would not be surprised. Bold prediction here. Would not be surprised if there's a press conference Friday
there we go.
with Cooper Flagg being
There we go.
introduced to the local media.
We have already gotten word on that, I believe.
Isn't there a big basketball game Friday night?
There is a big basketball game at the AAC on Friday.
That'd be Caitlin Clark and Paige Becker squaring off at the AAC.
You damn right they are.
Also would not be surprised if a certain future Maverick is a certain current Maverick. A certain current Maverick is at that game. Another not so bold prediction. Something tells me he might be courtside for that game. Something tells me.
Shout out to Paige Becker. She was at the Mavericks draft party at the American Airlines Center as well, celebrating the drafting of Cooper Flagg. So yeah,
are you going to that game?
I will be at that game. I would not miss that. Caitlin Clark, Prophet going to be at the game with me too, so we're excited about that. As Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever take on Paige Beckers and the Dallas Swings, playing some better basketball. Had a great game last night, taking out the Atlanta Dream. Held the Dream to 55 points last night?
They won 4 out of how many? 5?
3 out of 4, I believe. 3 out of 4. So there we go. Let's get to some super chats as we are moving that much closer to the end of the first round. Sarah from way earlier in the show with the $5 super chat. When you have a moment, share some of your favorite draft memories from years past, Mavs or non-Mavs. Corral, let's start with you on that one.
My favorite one probably was, okay, so it was a twofold. It was a double dip in the 2018 NBA draft. The Mavs had a watch party at Canton Hall in Deep Ellum, and Dennis was there, and there was probably 500 fans there, and Dennis went out on the stage to talk to the fans, and I was able to interview him like whenever I was still working for the Mavs. So I interviewed Dennis. We just talked about his rookie season and everything, and it was really cool. And then I got the Mark Stein tweet confirming the Mavs were indeed trading up to get Luka, and I was like very fired up. I love when the Mavs trade up in the draft, as you know. Where's the Omax picture?
That was a Mark Stein tweet that did not make you sad.
No, that one made me very happy. And then I got to talk to Sean Marion and Derek Harper about that, and that was a lot of fun. But later that night, so like at the watch party, we were doing some interviews, doing some talking, blah 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 blah. My family was there, so I was hanging out with him for a little bit, and then I needed to get to the arena for the post-draft presser with like Rick and Donnie and all those guys, and so I missed like 30 minutes basically between talking to people, saying goodbye, getting all my stuff, getting in my car, driving to the arena, walking in. And I got into the room at the arena around pick like 31 or 32. The Mavs had 33. And I see they get Brunson at 33. And I was shocked because I was like, there's no way that dude is getting out of the first round. And I was almost more excited about the Brunson pick than I was about getting Luka. I was like, I cannot believe this. And so that was, I'm like in a very quiet room and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. It's like, I cannot believe that these guys did it. Like Michael Finley, you were forever goated. And obviously everything worked out great and it was fine. So that's probably my favorite draft memory. What about you, Mark?
Even though Sarah is absolute show family, probably my favorite draft memory, I'm gonna have to save that one for my memoirs, and because it's too petty for me to bring up just yet, but I will eventually reveal it. So I'm gonna hold on to that, my number one draft memory.
Very nice.
But I'm really glad you brought up the Luka tweet. Although me being me, because I love to beat myself up with a sledgehammer, I have two or three extraneous words in that Luka tweet in the days before you could edit a tweet, and every time I see that tweet, it just drives me crazy that I was rushing so fast to get it out that I had a couple stray words in there. But I mean, look, man, June 24th, 1998.
It's a pretty good one.
Mavericks get Nowitzki and Nash on the same day. Hard for me.
But I feel like that one better in retrospect because of the way it worked out, or like at the time was it like, wow, this
for
is
me personally, it was a huge one because, like I said, the Dallas Morning News archives from those days, they're not online. But the Sunday before that draft, I wrote a story about the Mavs' serious interest in Nowitzki. Don Nelson promptly told me, "We're not drafting Nowitzki." Dan Gadzarich kicked his ass in a workout. Of course, they were drafting Nowitzki, and I couldn't wait after that draft to go right up to Nelly. There was like a few of us in his office. I said, "You told me that Dan Gadzarich kicked Dirk's ass in a workout," and he just let out one of his huge Nelly chortles and said,
don't ever believe anything I say around the draft. And that was a good lesson for a young reporter.
Goat.
So I, that whole experience, and then just, bringing Dirk coming here, press conference, lobbying him to play. Like, I mean, that for me, it was only my second summer in Dallas. And look, I mean, I was covering the Lakers when I left, but I was covering the Lakers for the third largest paper in Southern California. Even though the Mavericks were the Mavericks were the laughingstock franchise of the NBA in the 90s, but the Dallas Morning News was the Lakers of newspapers. So it was a big step up for me to come cover the Mavericks for the Dallas Morning News. And, those first couple years in Dallas were huge for me. And so, like, they hold a special place in my heart.
On a much less reverent note, my second favorite draft moment came in 2015 when the Mavs selected Satnam Singh with like the 55th pick or whatever. And immediately after the pick, a very sober Donnie Nelson and Chandler Parsons entered the media room and gave a press conference for the ages. That was a pretty epic night. So that's all I have to say about that.
Mine is a real nerdy one because having the privilege to work in this business, I had the privilege of being on live on my radio show with Reggie Atatula during the night that Derek Lively was drafted, and being able to run through all of that, knowing that he was coming to Dallas, and then your boy Omax, the Mavericks trading back in to the first round. I'd say this is my favorite moment in terms of the Lively part of it, because the euphoric, the feeling of being on air and being able to convey that to a live audience as it's happening, it's a pretty cool feeling. Like, hey, this guy is coming, and we have a chance to immediately break it down and be able to discuss it. So that was my first NBA draft to be able to cover as a professional live on radio. So that was
It's not nerdy.
It was a pretty surreal night. I mean, I it's a little inside baseball, but yeah, that was a pretty cool night.
Sarah, thanks for the thoughtful question.
Yeah, for sure. The first guy to put me on to Derek Lively coming to the Dallas Mavericks, Rafael Barlow. We had him on a show. I had him on a previous Mavs show that I used to do, and he was like, hey, Mavericks and that Derek Lively thing is the thing. So if the Mavericks get him, he's going to be a hell of a player. And yeah, so shout out to Rafael Barlow, who's in New York tonight covering the NBA draft. We got to Ya Billy's earlier with the $5 super chat. Ozzy D.
We were talking about the dinner.
Oh, that's right.
Are they dessert guys?
Ozzy's
like, hell no, they're not.
Don't eat dessert around Nico. Cooper Flagg doesn't seem like a dessert guy to me. Michael Flores with the $4.99 super chat. Can we get a quote ice in vein celebration from Bobby Carella?
You're really gonna make me do it?
Let's do it. There it is. That wasn't very enthusiastic. I need a little more enthusiasm.
And why? I can't read the question. Why did they want that?
That was during the D-Lo talk.
That's right.
Michael Flores, you're on my list.
Another joke that sails over the old man's
You're
head.
on the good list because you helped us out with a super
Ice in my
chat.
veins is a really cool celebration, though. I gotta say that.
I'm not gonna lie to
awesome.
the new 3-point celebration that the guys are doing. Jalen Brunson does it. What's it? The
CD Lamb?
No.
Yeah, kind of CD sort of, right?
No, but he wipes his nose, and that's not cool. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's
Cat would know.
I think it's kind of cool.
The wipe the nose. Yeah, we don't want to do the wipe the nose celebration. We're not trying to do that one.
I think it's kind of cool.
No, it's not great. It's when you know what it actually means. It's not great.
What does it mean?
We'll talk about it later. Ya Billy with the $5 super check coming back in. Question for Mark Stein. What has been the craziest offseason you have covered?
I can't even see that on the screen. The craziest offseason that I have covered. I mean, 2019 was certainly up there.
Summer of Kawhi.
But also, I would have to say the DeAndre Jordan, because I was right in the middle of that. That was an all-timer because that really took over social media. And
that was also one of my more memorable stories, to be able to break that the Clippers were lobbying DeAndre Jordan.
Locked him in his house.
Well, it was hours before that part, but just putting out the first tweet that the Clippers were getting DeAndre Jordan to change his mind and not come to Dallas was it set off an eruption.
What a saga.
I mean, so
It
that's
was one of the worst nights of my life.
Did I do something wrong?
Huh?
No, I didn't know. The chair was Blake Griffin, I think.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin did the chair.
That was legitimately like one of the 3 worst sports nights of my life.
But
I
that
can
was
look
like an
back on it now
all
and
day. I
laugh.
mean, my first tweet was like, I think in the morning. Like, it was a saga. It went all day. That was certainly wild.
That's peak NBA Twitter right there.
There are some
that's
days
some
when
peak
years
NBA
happen,
Twitter.
and that was certainly one of them. Just
I mean,
an
I really need to
all-time-
think about. I mean, off the top of my head, it's hard for me to say, but
Well, it
whereas
feels
like,
like
whereas like off seasons, it's harder to remember. Like I'm just not. I don't remember it well. Like trade deadline, like nothing will compare to this past trade deadline. Like this past trade, I think I've said before, the only trade deadline that will compare to this past one was my very first trade deadline, because I was literally an NBA beat writer for 10 days, and the Clippers made the craziest trade in franchise history to that point, trading away Danny Manning for Dominique Wilkins. And so that one, and Super Kev got to watch Dominique and I reminisce about that in person when the Hawks were here late in the season.
Such a lovely gentleman.
He is.
Had a chance to meet him
I
for
mean,
the first
that's the thing.
time.
Is like Dominique Wilkins was a superstar in the heart of my teenage NBA fandom. I covered him as a beat writer when I was the youngest beat writer in the league. I mean, I was an absolute kid in over my head. Covered him for that last half season as the Clipper, and like love to see him and just reminisce about those times. Because like, I mean, I was just pinching myself at that point, being covering the Clippers, which was not seen as a desirable beat, and I was just like, this is the great. I mean, the first road trip I ever took, Dallas was a stop, and in those days, like I wasn't a savvy traveler at all, so I just stayed. The Mavs, the Clippers stayed at the Anatole, and I came to Dallas.
Oh wow, really?
I came to the first time I came to Dallas, and they stayed at the Anatole, and yeah.
No, I mean the Bulls stayed through at the Anatole through the Jordan
This
years.
is the
like,
1993-94 season. My first trip ever to
I'm surprised
Dallas.
they didn't stay at the Hyatt right next to the
Mavs, the Clippers stayed at the Anatole, and I'm just walking around the cavernous Anatole, seeing all these conventioneers going to whatever projector screen things I have to listen to, and I'm just walking around going, I am here to cover an NBA game tonight. This is the greatest thing in the world. That's how I was as a youth. Very,
Quite the enthusiast.
very Corella-like in my giddiness.
Tanner, are we able to hear from the Mavericks legend? Would you like to hear from the GOAT?
I would.
Here he is.
Hi, Cooper. Dirk here. Welcome to Dallas, and congrats on being the #1 pick. We're excited to have you. Dallas is a special place with the best fans in the NBA, and we can't wait to see your career here in Dallas. Let's go.
Good job, Dirk.
That, of course,
It's good to see Dirk on a Mavs social feed. That was something I was afraid I might not see for a long time.
Dirk Nowitzki. First words for #1 overall pick Cooper Flagg. So shout out to the GOAT.
I love that man so very much.
Sweet,
I think
sweet
he
man.
knows.
He's probably kind of weirded out by it, to be honest, but it's all right. I've poured more heart and soul into writing about that guy than I have toward anyone I've ever been involved with. That's for sure.
Shout out to my man Scooter.
What pick are we on? Where are we in this draft?
23.
Number 23. We'll run it.
We got one more super too.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it. Yeah,
My bad.
we'll run it down in terms of the draft picks here in just a moment. Shout out to Scooter. I want to make sure I say that. Shout out, love you, Scooter. AV3_X with the $5 super chat. Did you see Nico from the War Room? He was definitely talking to Kyrie on FaceTime. Right. LOL. Did he?
He did
The cross finger thing that Kyrie does.
It's good. I mean, Kyrie seems
Cool.
really on board with the whole thing, man. Like, obviously the day, like we talked about the other day, the morning of Game 7 or the pregame of Game 7, whenever it was, he went on the NBA TV broadcast and said, like, I trust Nico to do a good job, and Patrick and Mark and the front office and everybody, and, you know, we're trying to do something special here. We're trying to win a championship and all those things. You know, and in many respects, he's embraced the leadership role in a way, you know, vocal external leadership role in a way that, you know, I'm trying to think back to, it's so hard to think back to before Dirk because I was a little lad before Dirk, but in a way that really no other Mav has outside of Dirk while being a player. I mean, Kyrie is like, you know, being the face of the team through after what they went through this year is very, very, it's got to be exhausting. But Kyrie's embraced that. And, you know, you couple that, embracing being the leader, the vocal leader, motivating the players, embracing the responsibility that comes with leading the team and through everything they were going through. And then you follow that up by taking a pay cut. Holy, like he's stamped. Like Kyrie he is forever good in my book. We'll never say, granted, I didn't say that many bad things about him even before he came to the Mavs because he's always been unbelievable. But like, I'll never say a bad word about that. He could go 0 for 50 in a game, just chucking the worst like 72 footers. And I'd be like, you know what? He tried his best tonight. Kyrie is never going to say a bad thing about that guy.
Yeah, he's certified legend status when he stood up there and shot 2 free throws with a torn ACL.
Made them both,
and
too.
the first words were out of his mouth were, "Thank you, God." Like, yeah, man, he's made up a little differently. And for, I think, most Mavericks fans, he's certified himself as a guy that will be forever etched in the memories of this fan base because it's not too many dudes who stand up there and do that.
John Anderson, you're not welcome on a microphone, buddy.
Not right now.
Not on the Mav show.
Yeah, not right now.
Okay, yeah,
not right now.
He's got a Celtics water bottle.
Victor with the $2 super chat for Mark Stein. As the latest pick is in, as Atlanta selects Austin Newell.
Okay.
Oklahoma City is now on the clock as the draft rolls on. Mark Stein, GOAT reporter of basketball and soccer. By the way,
thank you for that, Victor. That was very nice.
Congrats to you living out a childhood dream. I saw your video essay talking about your Manchester City
incredibly meaningful to me, my football club that I've loved since 1980, before I think pretty much all of you were born. They asked me to do 2 videos as they're in the United States on the Club World Cup tour.
Yeah.
And yes, those are highlights. Those are absolute, like, they asked me to write a thank you to Kevin De Bruyne.
I saw that, yeah.
Right there is hard to say that out. Hard to believe that sentence even exists. And then they had me do a preview of the Club World Cup where they basically let me tell the story of what it's been like to be a City fan in America for all these years. So,
did you know congratulations are in order for Bobby and his team?
No, I did not.
You did not know that? So Crystal Palace has a new ownership group.
It's nothing to congratulate, buddy.
I know. Congrats on that, buddy.
Nothing
Shout
to
out
congratulate.
to Woody Johnson apparently taking over.
The only good thing that comes out of it is they
Palace.
can sidestep the controversy about not getting into Europe. So hopefully that's clear and they're good to go. But yeah, that's pretty bit of a sore subject for me right now.
I thought about you and Tyler Baptiste immediately when I saw that. I was like, yikes, man. Woody Johnson taking over that group.
The Jets owner?
That's right. That's right.
Taking over or buying into the team?
He's buying it. Yeah, he's going to buy the club. Yeah. Yeah, so congrats. Real quick, so I mentioned a little bit earlier that Cooper Flagg was asked if Jason Kidd had given any assurance that he'll be his coach amid the speculation of him leaving for the Knicks job. Mike Curtis of the Dallas Morning News, who's on the scene, has the full quote from Cooper Flagg where he said to that answer to that question, quote, "No, I haven't had those conversations yet at all, but I think talking with Coach Kidd, my workout, and even after I got picked, I was on the phone with him for a minute. I think he's just excited. He has a good vision for me for what I can do and how I can impact the game. So I'm excited to just talk to him more," end quote. So Cooper Flagg answering that particular question on the Jason Kidd coaching front. Why won't that quit?
Because the Knicks don't have a coach. And
Just
as long
simple-
and
just
as long
simple-
as the Knicks don't have a coach,
And now, I'm sorry, let me back up. Is a Jason Kidd additional extension potentially on the horizon here? He has the 2 years left on the current extension that he has. Is there an additional year?
I think there
coming?
has to be at least a minimum of a year added. But yes, the Mavericks need to extend him, and that would. I mean, look, they can't. They denied the Knicks' request. The Knicks have moved on to interview other coaches. It came out today they're going to be interviewing James Borrego next, who's on the Pelican staff. They got permission to do that. But the reality is, until the Knicks hire a coach, I don't think the storyline is going to go away. The only thing that could probably make it go away is a further extension to Jason Kidd's contract, just like he got last year when the Lakers were said to be interested in coming after him. And the Knicks are going to go slow. They have the only vacancy in the league. They don't have to rush. And so I'm sure they love hearing the talk continue. So I don't know how the story gets completely squelched otherwise without an extension for Jason Kidd, like we saw in Houston with Ime Udoka and like we saw in Chicago with Billy Donovan.
As we continue here on the DLLS Mavs Draft Day live show presented by Empire Today, special shout out to our guys Tanner, Elijah, John Anderson, even with his Celtics crap, helping us out tonight.
Putting it nicely.
Right. Shut up, John. We're not want to hear about the Celtics tonight.
Most titles, like half of them came before color TV. Dude.
Yeah,
No one's
7
impressed.
teams in the league.
No one's impressed.
It looks like we have another trade in tonight's NBA draft. The Sacramento Kings are trading for the number 24 pick from the Oklahoma City Thunder and taking Nick Clifford with that pick there. So the Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder doing some business on this draft.
And there's been talk, honestly, for a while now that Sacramento was gonna find a way to get a first-round pick, and that OKC pick at 24 specifically was being talked about today as a pick that the Kings wanted to acquire. So
Took them 2 years to recoup their losses after trading 24, which became Omax in 2023.
Oh, that's right.
They've been chasing it ever since. What's going back to OKC? If it's an unprotected pick, I'm going to become the Joker.
So far, additional details have not been provided.
Okay.
Right now, though, it's just the Sacramento Kings trading for the number 24 pick.
Not going to lie, guys. The Mavs are running out of time to get back in the first round if that's what they want to do.
Taking Nick Clifford, yeah.
Brooklyn has, I think, all of the remaining picks. So.
They have back-to-back picks at 26 and 27. So right now, we are at getting toward the end of the first round here. Orlando coming up at number 25. Brooklyn coming up at 26 and 27, as we will give you a rundown of some of the picks that have been made as we have been talking throughout the course of the show. Tanner, can we get the big board of what is taking place so far? Oh,
so there's still from the Mavs' vantage point, I know a lot of fans say, okay, get back in the first round and draft a guard. Jace Richardson is still there. Ben Saroff is still there. Depending on if you think Hugo Gonzalez can play right away or not, he's still there. And then there's some wings. Tim Cato's brother, Danny Wolf, is still on the board. Obviously, the Mavs don't need size. So if I'm Dallas, based on what you would need to give up probably to get back in the first round, it's not worth it to me to do it at this point. But we'll see if they do. Obviously, getting a guy that at this point in the draft is only making like $3.5 million per year for 4 years, which is a really nice contract. But you're probably having to give up like a real player for this, and I'm not interested in doing that at this point.
Taylor, let's throw that big board back up real quick. There's a couple I wanted to note when it came to the picks that have been made since we've been discussing. Jan Beringer going to the Minnesota Timberwolves, another big center from France going to Minnesota. So shout out to Rudy Gobert. Walter Clayton going to the Utah Jazz. You like the Nolan
Nolan Traore, yeah, good
Traore,
defender,
okay.
rangy guy.
another Frenchman.
Struggles offensively. Like, will he be Frank Ntilikina or will he be better? I don't know, but he's interesting.
Outside of obviously Cooper Flagg, what has been your favorite pick of the first round so far? If you have one.
I mean, Malowach to Phoenix, I think, is really good. Memphis getting Cedric Howard, I think, is really good. Spurs getting Carter Bryant's really good. I just
like the
like
Carter Bryant. Yeah,
I like role player guys. I think Yakuchionis going all the way at what 20 or 21 or whatever.
Mine
to
hasn't
Miami
happened
is.
yet. I need Ben Surroff taken before this first round
okay.
is over.
Okay.
I do also want to see what Tanner has cooked up graphic-wise if Danny Wolf goes and he's got a side-by-side with Cato.
Yeah, like what the hell, dude? Danny Wolf, let's go. What's going on?
Luke says his favorite pick so far is Ace Bailey to the Utah Jazz.
That was awesome.
I'm not sure how Ace Bailey feels about that, but I'm sure he's just happy to be drafted and he'll figure it out. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Bobby, you're not necessarily gonna like this, but I'm not gonna lie to
GM
you.
Ben wants to say something.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry.
got a little new, doing my job over here a little bit. Like Stein has all the stuff coming in off his phones. I have not seen that phone since like
That's what I'm saying, man. That
2002. That's a
computer's somewhere
cool
out of
phone.
2005.
Belongs to the museum.
Computer's
Sweet.
not that old.
With our shirts.
Oh, the flag captured shirts?
Brian Godbold, Todd Oliver, Mark Irving, Linda Clark, the latest to purchase.
Let's go.
Shout
I'm
out.
just speaking this out of experience from our run with the Stars and the shirts that we drop. We do not guarantee that we can get sizes back in. So I get alerts every time one of these gets sold on here. I'm just saying, if people like XL or 2XL, don't sleep on this thing.
Okay.
Get in there and buy it and enjoy it, man.
Get your flag
Flag
captured
captured.
shirts. A new release for us here at DLLS Sports. Go to shop.allcitynetwork.com. Type in flag captured and go get your flag captured flag, representing, of course, Cooper Flagg being the #1 overall pick to your Dallas Mavericks. Again, store.allcitynetwork.com. And you can find your t-shirts there.
Thanks to everybody that's purchased so far tonight. Phone's been blowing up. I can't say too much, but we got some more heat coming this week. So
We do. I've seen
I'm
some
just
specs.
saying,
Yeah,
we got
seen
some
some
heat
shirts,
coming.
yeah.
If you like this one now, there's some stuff coming.
I've seen some specs.
Little teaser, there's a Fire Mavs one
How come I'm never invited to the shirt meetings?
because you got the only hat available in this company with
That is
that
true.
logo.
It was put in the Slack. I mean,
You good on the merch. The exclusive merch, you good on the exclusive merch.
Mark, if you want me to invite you to all the meetings that I get invited to, I can. I'll just forward it right along to you.
Just one shirt
You
meeting.
can be my
I think I
envoy.
should be one shirt. I should just get some shirts.
Just get D-Line on the phone.
Yeah, you
know,
you
Eric.
got a one-way ticket to go talk to D-Line.
But again,
okay?
not outside the heat that's dropping on the shirt side later this week. We're gonna have some hat news very soon.
Oh,
That's all I can say. But keep an eye on it. Very, 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 very soon.
Get me signed up for a fitted.
And diehards get 20. They get discounts on all this stuff. So
That's right. Become a diehard right now. Make your move. $36 right now to become a diehard member. $3 a month. Oh, the Orlando Magic take Jace Richardson out of Michigan State. So they get.
I feel like they've taken a player from Michigan or Michigan State every year of my life. I think they're on like a 35-year streak.
Another player loved covering his father. Can't wait to meet the young man and a lefty.
Of course, his father,
He is a man after your own heart, isn't he?
former NBA dunk champion Jason Richardson.
Love Jay Rich.
Yeah, Jay Rich has had some of the
Wonder if
great,
his son goes by the same nickname.
great dunks of all time.
Jace initially mocked pretty high. Whenever we thought the Mavs were before they won the lottery, whenever we thought they were going to be picking somewhere between like 10 and 12 in that area. Back in those days, that's where Jace was getting mocked.
I did kind of just want him to slip to 29 though, just to see what Phoenix would do.
Ooh.
Happy for the young man, but that would have been curious.
But between, Walter Clayton in particular having a really good tournament run, and he goes to the combine and is only measured at 6'1" or something. It's a little shorter than I think everyone thought he was. It hurt him. It hurt him a lot, and so he fell. But Orlando, after trading Cole Anthony, they need a guard off the bench that's got a little scoring pop, and he can certainly score the dang ball. And they had a ball handling void to fill as well. And so, good for him. They also have Jett Howard, son of Juwan Howard, who went to Michigan just like his pops. Jace goes to Michigan State just like his pops, and now they're teammates on the Magic. How about that? Where they play with Franz Wagner, who went to Michigan.
I thought I knew that's where Mo went, right?
And Mo, but he's not on the
I
Magic.
wasn't sure where Franz went. Sorry. I only think of him as the German national team. Right? I don't think of his college career. My bad.
He had more success for Germany than he did for Michigan, but Mo had some really good years at Michigan.
Mo Wagner.
That's right. That is right. So Kevin, yeah.
So when does City play again? Tomorrow?
That is correct. They play Juventus on TNT.
And you're on through round of 16, right? Is that there's nothing in the balance, right?
First in the groups is in the balance.
Is this still C-Dub-C?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Our round of 16 is on DAZN. Anybody got a login?
Buddy, I don't got to log in for anything.
If you download the app, it's free.
Is it all right? Done. For 7 days, or do I have
No,
to
no.
space it out?
I think all the games are free in this tournament. I think
Free.
at least free in Spanish.
Hey.
Let me do a diehard read. We don't have to. All right. All right. I'm gonna tell you about a diehard here. Hey, you should become a diehard. We're on a special right now. It's called the Make Your Move intro offer for $36 for a year. It's the best deal. It ties for the best deal we've ever done. But here's the thing with the timing of this. So not only are you going to get both Mavs and Stars draft coverage and post-draft coverage and free agency coverage, and for Mavs, it's summer league coverage and all that stuff, but Cowboys are about to go to camp, so you're going to get all that coverage all the way through Cowboys season. You're going to get coverage all the way through Mavs season and all the way through Rangers season and all the way through Star season, but then you're also going to get Rangers hot stove coverage. You're going to get Cowboys off-season coverage. You're going to get Mavs and Stars championship parade coverage into their pre-draft coverage. So it is the perfect time to sign up to get a full year of coverage on alldlls.com. When you sign up, you also get a free shirt of your choice. If you want to use that on the flag captured shirt, that's great. But if you're like, man, there's like 12 shirts on your site because there's more than 40 of them that I really like, well, you get a discount on any other merch. So if you're already a diehard, you could save 20% on any other shirts or flags or mugs or cups or anything other than hats. But stay tuned for some news on that, hopefully very soon. You also get to join the DLLS Diehard Discord Lounge, where I've been popping in a couple times throughout the night. There are people in here, believe it or not, that believe and agree with me on D'Angelo Russell. And there are people that don't. But you know what? It's always healthy disagreement. It's always a healthy community with our more than 1,500 diehards. You also get your physical diehard card.
I don't have it handy. I'm sorry.
Mark, Kevin?
I barely have a functional laptop today, and it's like, I'm sorry, man.
You get your physical diehard card.
Boom.
Boom! Made of pure titanium alloy mixed with melted obsidian that has been reinforced with steel and
vibranium.
Yep, that is as well. That is scientifically
Come on, you've seen
proven.
Black Panther.
I have seen that movie. You're
Okay,
right. I watched
all
that movie with Harrison Barnes, actually.
With Harrison Barnes.
Wow, what a flex that was.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
So anyway, you should become a
I was
diehard
like,
for that reason and more. Thank you.
Brave New World was fantastic. Captain America: Brave New World.
That capture the flag captured shirt. Also, you signed up to be a diehard. You can pick that shirt out.
You can for free $99. All you got to do is
Until
pay
it
shipping.
runs out.
I kind of want to respond to Mark's text he sent me a few minutes ago on the show.
Oh, wow.
Through text.
Okay.
I got a. By the way, do you have any basic black DLS shirts in 2XL? Text, and I don't right now because we have had Ed Belfour in studio this week. He walked out with one. Anthony Lynn was in studio today.
I saw that.
Big dude walked out with 2XL.
This hat, which I arranged myself, like I can't get a napkin around here because I have this hat.
But you can get free happiest hour food, which, by the way,
Time to get spicy on the draft show.
I might.
I didn't even know that was happening because, like, that's
Or
much of
Providence
the,
would like
much
to say
of the
W
food was
time to get
consumed.
negative on the draft show.
Well, we still got some jalapeno poppers right there to up the spice level because I can feel it getting a little spicy.
We got some bubbly.
And I think we have some flatbreads, and I might just take one of those home with me.
I was even gonna ask.
At least we got guys on this set who know how to actually pop some champagne.
I was even
around
gonna
here.
ask if Happiest Hour was catering, and in my madness, I forgot to ask, and my premonition was proven correct.
Mark, I'll get you a shirt, but that was just my way of responding. We've had some star power running through the office here this last week.
And
stuff.
Okay,
I'll get you.
Understandable.
I got you.
I appreciate it.
I got you.
Ben Saroff to the Nets.
That's another guard.
My night is complete.
Oh, you good now? You all good?
6'6" lefty.
And Yegor is also lefty, isn't he? Or is he a righty?
Believe he's righty.
I think he's a righty. Yeah, but that's a 6'8". Yegor is basically a point guard. So that's a 6'8" guard and a 6'6" guard, whereas Orlando takes like a 6'1" guard. So the Nets seem to be going all. I mean, Cam Thomas, I guess, is their shortest guy. He's like 6'5".
I do need to say something. I see MFFL Nation is. They actually asked me earlier today to talk about Dudley. Clearly missed it when I said it, so I'm just going to real quickly repeat it. The Mavericks expect Dudley to stay. He has not yet received a formal offer. He has interest. He's a finalist for the #1 chair in Memphis, along with Adrian Griffin and Dale Osborne of the Magic. The Cavs have interest as well. The working assumption is that an offer will come from one or both of those teams. So it is possible he gets an offer that lures him away, but it is premature to say that he is already leaving, and the current expectation is that he will be here.
Can I ask you a follow-up question
Yes.
on that? So I understand why, for example, the Knicks coaching search is maybe taking a while because it's the head coaching position. It's really super ultra important. For Memphis, though, they already have their coach. So why, for example, would a Memphis search for that, even if it's the top assistant, it's still, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but like it's still just an assistant coaching position. So why is that seemingly taking so long when their season's been over for 2 months?
Okay, I can't speak to why their search is taking this long, but the difference, Sean Sweeney was on an expiring contract. Alex Jensen was on an expiring contract. God Shamgod is on an expiring contract. Jared Dudley's contract actually was extended after last year's final, so he is under contract to the Mavs, and the reason he was given permission to speak to the Grizzlies and why it is anticipated that permission would also be granted if Cleveland formally comes after him. Sorry, I'm watching this Danny Wolf stuff in the green room that's kind of tough to take in.
Oh, man, that's
He has to get the most on right now.
that sucks.
At this point,
Yeah, Tim Cato went all the way to New York.
Hopped on a plane to get
He
to
took the
Yale.
Concorde up there.
at this juncture, as we speak, Jared Dudley is in the #3 seat on the Mavs bench. And so because these jobs appear to be potential promotions, that's why he's able to go for them. But in short, for MFF, that's like as hard to say as DLLS sometimes. It's hard to get the F's all flowing. It's been suggested that he has already left the Mavericks. That is not the case. Jared Dudley is very firmly, as of today, part of the Mavs coaching staff. What will ultimately happen remains to be seen.
Danny Wolf is getting shown a lot of stuff on his phone right now, indicating that Tim Cato might soon be on a team, but it could also just be guys taking advantage of the opportunity to get some screen time. I personally think, man, if I wasn't like absolutely sure that I was going to go top 10, I would not go to the green room because this kind of thing can happen, and I just don't really want, unless, you know what, I guess you could take it a step further and say, I know I'm not going to get taken in the top 10. In fact, I know I'm not even going to get taken in the top 20. So what I'm going to do is sitting there looking really sullen and sad and angry, and then I'm going to spin that to show how hungry I was, and I'm going to use that for positive PR as a rookie. Oh, and he got picked. Congratulations, Tim Cato.
The Brooklyn Nets have selected
Should we
Danny
get him
Wolf
on the phone?
out of Michigan. So Danny Wolf has his night come to a happy ending.
Look that happy.
Well, the 7-footer is going to be headed to his home. He's already in his home. He's already in his home building in Brooklyn, in Barclays Center.
He's decided to take a nap.
So he literally doesn't have to go anywhere.
It's like Brooklyn. Oh.
He literally can go to his locker right now. Oh, that was from earlier.
Oh, my God. That's like 3 hours ago.
I thought it was something brand new. I was like, oh, that was a long time ago.
Adam.
Come on, Adam. Get with it.
Seriously.
Get with it.
Join the program, buddy. Literally, the eCam. We'll send you the eCam link.
Okay.
We'll be live for another 20 minutes, and then we're out of here. So act fast.
We have still not seen Nico Harrison. He has not spoken yet, as he will be speaking at the conclusion of the first round. Mavericks fans were hoping that the Mavericks may trade themselves back into the first round. Was there any other rumblings on the Mavericks trying to get back into the first round?
I mean, I've been asking all night, and as it's happening, it's hard for anyone to project that it's going to happen. We're down to the last couple picks, so
Sure.
Still checking, nothing confirmed. I find myself mesmerized by this Danny Wolf story unfolding on the screen. We got to get Danny Wolf on this show someday, somehow.
He'll be here tomorrow at 12.
It is a must. No,
or actually tomorrow evening. Actually,
we need to get both Danny Wolfs on the show at the same time.
3 picks left in the first round of the 2025 NBA draft. Mark's favorite thing these days is that the NBA draft is 2 days.
I love the 2-night thing. I don't understand how people don't like the 2-night thing. If you're in our chat room, you love basketball, you love the minutia.
2 days is excessive.
Okay, but
it's excessive.
We've been here we're heading for 3.5 hours. You want to do a whole second round and then the all night long 2 ways and summer league deals. It is so much better to make this a 2-day thing. Teams now have a chance. Why are you laughing?
Nothing.
Now teams have a chance to go back into their rooms and plot trades. What now? I hate when the joke flies over my head. What? Yes, I'm talking to you.
I got a funny text.
What are you texting?
I'm not texting him.
He's not. No, it's from someone out of the building. Outside the building.
I don't trust none of y'all.
I've never told you a lie, Mark Stein.
Thank you, Luke Byrne. Better over 2 nights.
This isn't.
Why try to cram all of this into one?
This isn't the NFL. One night,
3 nights.
What?
Let's go.
No, we don't need.
We don't bring back a 3rd round and a 4th round for the 4th.
I'll read you a list of some of the Mavs' 4th round picks.
We will never be able to
the
have
basketball public is just as interested in the second rounders as they are in the first rounders. Let them have their day.
I miss the days where Nikola Jokic was getting picked during Taco Bell commercials. Okay, like come on, man. Like the obscurity of second round picks, and then you find out, hey, wait a minute, exactly. And what did that happen in one night? Bobby got to experience the greatest draft night of his life in one night. Imagine if he had to wait 2 days and wait a second day to see if Jalen Brunson was coming to the Dallas
I'm trying to
Mavericks.
ask you right now, can you imagine the second round starting 20 minutes from now?
Yeah, we did it for years.
I could. It would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great, actually. It was awesome.
It would appease me. Well, they would
also the picks go.
They'd speed up the production a
Yeah.
little bit. I mean, this is dragged. Like,
Yeah,
let's be honest. Like Cooper was on doing the interview with the panel, and they stopped the draft for like 15 minutes for that. It's like, buddy, we don't need that. You know, like, let's get these picks going. You know, like they're really milking this for.
Somebody says that like the 2 days is better due to the 3-hour difference between Eastern time and Pacific Standard Time. I mean, but we all know why the NBA draft was made 2 nights. It's for money and television ratings. But
the second round's not going to get killer ratings. I think it's for the basketball junkies. I do.
The NBA business can be conducted just as well and was conducted just as well and quickly in one night. Because it was what? You get 5 minutes in between.
Then you need to shorten it too. Then you need it can't be 5 minutes between first round picks. It should be like 3 and 2 if you were going to do it all in one night. Because again, as soon as the second round ends, you have 100 zillion two-ways and summer leagues and exhibit 10s and like, no, it's just too much in one day. And every single transaction matters in the NBA. Even your exhibit 10 invites to camp. Our audience loves that too. I don't want it stuffed in one day.
Another reason why 2018 draft was so fun, because I believe that was the same year they got Josh Reeves, if I'm not mistaken, and Ray Spalding, who are two Mavs legends. That might have been 2019, though. I don't know. I need to check. Hugo Gonzalez. All right.
Hugo Gonzalez.
Hope you guys
from Real Madrid.
Hope you guys read that. Hope you read Jake Fisher's
that was
afternoon forecast of what was going to happen. A lot of what he said is taking place.
It was 2019, not 2020, that they got Josh Reeves. I'm sorry. I've failed.
So where is Boston with respect to they've shed a ton of luxury tax and tax penalties by moving on from Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis? Are they potentially looking to reroute Anthony Simons? Or do they want to see what they have with him and keep him going into next year, in your opinion?
Say it one more time. Sorry, I'm doing two things.
Anthony Simons forever Celtic, or is he?
I wouldn't say forever. But look, the beauty of the Celtics position now is because they so swiftly solved the bulk of their tax problems. Now they can be a little bit more choosy. They don't have to rush into anything. I mean, I think, there's still a possibility that Hauser goes. I think someone would really have to wow them to get Jaylen Brown or Derek White away at this point. So,
hope you don't mind. I took your champagne. I didn't think you were
all good.
Wow.
There will be no champagne consumption from me.
I walk home, so just so everyone knows. I live very close. Yeah, it would be really, really surprising to me. Obviously, I know Jaylen Brown's contract number is like out of this world, but it would just be so weird if they traded him. I don't know why they would. Derek White makes a little more sense since he's older. It would also make sense if they did flip Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons does not seem to fit the Celtics thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they want. Granted, it was just like a one time, but I mean, before they had Drew and Derek White, they had Marcus Smart. I mean, and Rondo even, they like dog guards, and alongside these wings, they want switchable defenders. Anthony Simons is not a very good defender. That's part of the reason why Portland was willing to trade him. He can score, but, he's not very big. He's not very tall. He's not very strong. He's not a very good defender. So I would be surprised if they held on to him. And I know that there are teams that would clearly, Portland or Boston was willing to give up Drew to get Simons. So there are teams that will give up a lot to get him.
My question for Boston is, who the hell is starting at center for them next season? Because Porzingis
they
is
can bring
gone.
Horford back, right?
Horford might be right.
Luke
Horford might be
Cornett?
ready to retire at this point.
Luke Cornett.
Whew.
I mean, apparently they're going
KP
to trade Sam Hauser, so they could trade Hauser for some size. I know.
Maybe they flip Simons for some size.
Maybe. I mean, there's probably teams with too many bigs that would trade a big for either Simons or for Hauser.
Yeah. Because who knows? Yeah, Al Horford might be ready to go ahead and head to retirement.
Boston, kind of like the Mavs, is in a situation where everyone kind of knows exactly what they need, and whenever everyone knows what you need, you don't have a lot of leverage in your negotiations. And Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens after him have made a career out of just completely hustling teams. So there's probably some sour grapes, and I don't know if they're going to get done any favors.
Brad Stevens getting positive assets for Drew Holiday. I mean, good gracious, man.
Well done, dude.
Yeah, well done. But I do like Boston's approach, because they've essentially look, man, this is a gap year for us. No Tatum. Let's get some of the books cleared off. Let's clean up our finances, and then let's go make a run for it in the 26-27 season when Tatum is back, and hopefully back from the torn Achilles and healthy and ready to go. Pacers are another team. I'm interested to see what happens with them this summer. Now that Tyrese Halliburton's had successful Achilles surgery for him, and what they look like. They got a decision, of course, with Miles Turner, what they got going on there too. So the East, if you look down the East real quick, the East is really weird because The Cavs, who were the number 1 seed, got bounced in the second round. The Knicks don't have a head coach. The Celtics, Jason Tatum's got a torn Achilles. He's going to be gone. The Pacers are going to be missing Tyrese Halliburton. He's got a torn Achilles. Oh, that's right. The Bucks, Damian Lillard's got a torn Achilles. He's not going to be playing. The East is really, really interesting right now. If you're the Orlando Magic, if you can find a way to stay healthy and find yourself some right, exactly. Orlando could find themselves zooming up the Eastern Conference top of the standings there because of everything that's happened in front of them. So the East is kind of wonky.
I don't think that Orlando will. They could push for 50. They could push for 50.
Yeah,
they're definitely not like going to catch Cleveland. I mean injuries, but like it wouldn't surprise me if Orlando finishes like third or even second.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're a top 4 team, I think, right now, given what they've gotten their situation.
It seems like Indiana, Mark, based on getting off picks and stuff. It seems like they're going to try and keep that team together. But T.J. McConnell is a free agent. I don't know if they can keep him, or do you think that they can?
I mean, I haven't crunched every number, but the thought of Rick Carlisle letting T.J. McConnell go,
J.J. Barea spent forever here.
Can't even fathom it. Man,
TJ is like the Rick.
Reading
guy,
that Tyrese Halliburton post was unreal.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
So yeah, the East right now is in
I love that guy.
Is a mess. It is a complete mess in the Eastern Conference right now, given the entirety of the injury situations, and we still don't know fully fleshed out what the Giannis thing is going to be this summer as well, if he decides to ultimately stay there or decides to go elsewhere.
So Jake reports that it is Liam McNeely.
Oh, the local kid, huh?
Yeah, going to essentially the Hornets. Yeah, he's going to end up with the Hornets as part of that Mark Williams trade.
Okay.
Where's he from? Richardson?
I believe so. Well, shout out.
Dude, Richardson has produced a lot of good players lately. I'm not going to lie. A lot of good players.
So in Chicago,
yes, keep watching.
In Chicago right
TV.
now, Mark Eversley, the assistant GM, is doing the Bulls press conference with Arturas Karnisovas in the room in the back watching.
Oh wow! I guess does he lead the draft for them?
No, I think I mean.
Hey man, real quick, what the hell is Chicago doing? Like, there are 3 teams that bother my spirit. It's the Sacramento Kings, it's the Atlanta Hawks, and it's the Chicago Bulls. Like, what is the vision and the plan in Chicago? Like, I was watching some clips from Chicago radio. They are just like, we don't know what the hell is going on with this organization. They just gave Billy Donovan an extension. I believe their GM just got another contract extension. Like, what is the thing in Chicago? Because I feel like they are just
and that's the thing.
In existence.
There are so many questions, and that's why it's so amazing that the GM is not speaking to the media tonight. It's the assistant GM, and the first thing he said was, "We're not going to take questions about Billy Donovan's extension." So.
Feels like that's a pretty big deal.
Feels like CHGO Bulls has plenty to talk about, as well as DLLS Mavs.
Yeah, the
Hawks have had a very good week, though, so the Hawks should not be wounding your spirit. The Hawks
they perpetually bother my spirit. They just I don't know, man. I mean, I love Dyson Daniels. I think the Great Barrier Thief is one of the greatest NBA nicknames floating around right now. You're right, Tila. The Hawks got the Pelicans unprotected first round pick for next year.
Still a while.
I still don't know how or why the Pelicans decided that was a good idea, but whatever. Shout out to Joe Dumars. Now I just have random NBA thoughts. Why does Joe Dumars keep leaving NBA front offices to go run teams? Like, why don't you just hang out in the NBA front office and just, go do that instead of going to run teams? Seems like a cushy job. Liam McNeely, the latest pick. The Los Angeles Clippers will round out the first round, Bobby Carella, of the 2025 NBA draft.
Robbie Lewis, Tim Cato's in the room. He's going to be asking questions. I want to know what you in the chat would ask. What would you ask Robbie Lewis? Other chatters who want to weigh in, what would you want to ask tonight if you were Tim Cato at the press conference? Michael Warrior, very good question. Is Nico going to get a second-round pick? That will be a big part of tomorrow's show. We don't know yet, but, I mean, it would not surprise me if the Mavs found a way to acquire a second.
Do you anticipate, as we move closer now to, obviously, the second round of the NBA draft tomorrow, NBA free agency officially beginning next week, do you anticipate significant activity for the Mavericks as they continue to look for point guard help? What kind, in your read, your opinion on?
I just think trading for a point guard is just, it's not that easy. It's wonderful to talk about conceptually, but it's just not that easy to pull off. And, you know, Utah is known for driving a hard bargain. So it's like, I just, trading for Sexton to me is on the complex side. Lonzo Ball has a very tradable contract, but like, again, making easy matches with, I don't know. I just think signing someone with the taxpayer mid-level and then signing another minimum player is probably an easier way to round out the backcourt. The look on Bobby's face says,
So I was doing
Okay.
YouTube stuff.
okay, good. I do not want to upset you.
Is it about guards?
Yes, I do not want to get you any more riled up than we already have.
No, I heard you talking about sending out cash to get a second rounder or acquiring a second rounder.
just-
They can do that by trading picks, but one thing of note, if they send out cash or receive cash in a trade, they are also hard capped at the second apron. And so,
I think it's inevitable they're going to be hard capped at the second apron.
yeah,
I mean, the whole point
it's a tight spot to be in.
the whole point of Kyrie opting out and convincing Kyrie to take a year one salary at a lower number than where 43 would have been was to free up that taxpayer mid-level to go use it. I mean,
For sure.
they don't want to just go into the free agent market with nothing but minimums to offer.
Yeah, and I would, and going back to the conversation we had before, I would rather try and pursue a trade for a guard and then be able to use the taxpayer mid to replace the guy that you trade for the guard, or get a different kind of useful player, if there are some out there. But that's just my take.
I mean, it feels like this team is hell bent on, and we've talked about it previously, keeping PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford.
And they're good players.
They're really good players. But if that's what the route is going to be, you're playing in the mid-level exception market for a guard and a starting guard at that. And there's not a lot of great options that are out there.
It's a tough thing. Them's the breaks. It's their problem to solve, and we'll see if they can.
I keep going back to the Chris Finch quote from earlier this postseason about how important ball handling and playmaking and creation are in today's NBA.
There's articles from 2014 on
I
Mavs.com
subscribe
when
to
we
it.
talk about that.
I subscribe to it too. I mean,
how do you say this guy's name? Does anyone know?
No.
Pronunciation
Niederhauser for sure, but
Yannick Conan Niederhauser.
That's a cool name. I like that one.
That's a mouthful.
Yannick.
Sweet name.
Yannick Conan Niederhauser.
Jan is a very common German name. So. I don't know if he is German. I'm assuming he is based on his last name.
That rounds out the first round, gentlemen, of the 2025 NBA draft. Let's get one final look at the completed first round of the 2025 NBA draft, which we'll look at here in just a second, with every single pick now filled in. Your top 10, Cooper Flagg at number 1. So the Dallas Mavericks. Dylan Harper goes number 2 to the San Antonio Spurs. VJ Edgecombe goes number 3 to the Philadelphia 76ers. Con Knipple going number 4 to the Charlotte Hornets. Ace Bailey, go find yourself a coat, young man, because you're headed to Utah. The stud freshman Trey Johnson from Texas going to Washington. Jeremiah Fears going to the New Orleans Pelicans. Ear Denham going to the Brooklyn Nets. Colin Murray-Boyles, the surprise, going at number 9 to the Toronto Raptors, and Kama Maluak going to the Phoenix Suns on behalf of the Houston Rockets on behalf of the Phoenix Suns, I should say. That rounds out your top 10 of this year's NBA draft. Cooper Flagg has been captured by the Dallas Mavericks. Let's get a final word in before we get out of here, gentlemen, on tonight's festivities as Cooper Flagg, Mark Stein, is officially a Dallas Maverick.
Now that this night is complete, and it's a night that people have been anticipating, obviously, for the last 6-7 weeks, I'm really excited for, to see what happens for the rest of the week. And we got, free agencies here Monday. I just, I have to be honest. The draft has never been my specialty. Like I mentioned earlier, with Jake Fisher writing twice a week for my site now, and reading and editing his copy has probably made me more prepared for a draft than I've been in a long time. I actually had a much better handle on these players than I normally do. But yeah, for the Mavs, obviously, Cooper Flagg now is a Mav. We saw a Dirk Nowitzki video. We saw Mark Aguirre back with the team. So emotional night, momentous night, press conference Friday, Summer League en route. But my focus honestly now goes to the second. We still got the second round, which, like I said, I am thrilled that we've got a 2-day draft. I really like that it's, and I'm glad that the second round has been moved from the afternoon to the evening. So we got nighttime duties tomorrow, and then it's pretty much free agency time. And the Mavs, with very little flexibility, have some very important things to get done.
Bobby, final thoughts on Cooper Flagg? Now officially, I should say, joining the Dallas Mavericks here.
He has the chance to be really, 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 really good. The Mavs got a 1.8 in 100 chance at a potentially great player. And I hope that he is a great player. But the same, as I said, go to Mavs.com, whenever they drafted Luka, and I've said this about, every other player the Mavs have ever drafted, even the ones that they've taken very high, they're rookies. And with rookies come learning curves, with rookies come bad games and good games, and dry spells and cold spells. And, I think that Cooper seems to be the kind of guy, that's made up. He's not going to get in his own head. There's no lack of confidence or anything like that, but he's going to be a whole lot better game 20 than he is game 1. He's going to be a whole lot better year 5 than year 1, year 2 than year 1. And so enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, enjoy the steps forward, and learn from the steps backward. It's going to be a whole lot of fun watching this guy develop and seeing what kind of player he turns into. And I don't know. I'm really excited for it.
Tonight marks the culmination of what has been the last 144 days for a franchise and a fan base that has gone through every single range of emotion that you could possibly think of, and to finally be at the mountaintop to capture the flag that is Cooper Flagg for this franchise. I personally am happy for this fan base. This is a very passionate, very fervent fan base who loves this team, has loved what this team has stood for, and now they have a chance to now officially turn the page with the Cooper Flagg era. So I personally want to say to Mavericks fans, I am happy for you. You have deserved a night like this and a chance to celebrate the player that's coming to this team. And Cooper Flagg is now a member of the Dallas Mavericks. The journey begins for the Duke products. He will be surrounded by a bunch of former Duke Blue Devils himself when it comes to Kyrie Irving, Derek Lively II as well. So congratulations to Cooper Flagg and his entire family. Welcome to Dallas, and we are looking forward to covering what we hope is a generational player for years to come. We want to thank all of you for joining us here on the DLLS Mavs Draft Live Show presented by Empire Today. The second round will kick off tomorrow at 7 p.m. as the second round of the NBA draft will continue. We will be right here in our DLLS Sports Studios.
We will not be live at 7.
What time will we be live?
We're going live for an hour-ish unless the Mavs make a move. So we'll announce whenever we go live.
So stay tuned. The easiest way you can do that.
We're not starting right at 7.
Unless all of y'all want to. We are required by law to do an hour show. And so we'll be here and we'll see.
If there's any breaking news, of course, we will be right here to cover it all for you. Appreciate all of you who have joined us on our emergency pods over the last couple of days with Daniel Gafford and the Kyrie Irving signing. But the best way you can support us here is to like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports. Go to shop.allcitynetwork.com. Get your flag captured shirt as well. Hot off the presses tonight, celebrating the drafting of Cooper Flagg. So again, shop.allcitynetwork.com to get your flag captured shirt. I want to thank everyone who helped us tonight. Shout out to Katya. Shout out to John Anderson. Shout out to Prophet Elijah. Shout out to our guy Tanner and Ben as well.
Shout out to Happiest Hour.
Yes, thank you so much to Happiest Hour for providing some fantastic
Shout
food
out to the Mavs for the hat.
for us. Yes, the Mavericks organization.
I'm a hat guy now.
You are a hat guy now.
Shout out to Abby Jones. Was at the arena
Yes.
and she's now at the facility with Tim.
Big shout
getting
out to
footage
Abby
of the
Jones,
press conference
yes.
that should start, I would imagine, anytime soon. That will Nico's comments in full will be on our YouTube channel shortly.
So big team effort tonight for our first ever draft day live show. And we had a chance to talk about the number 1 pick, Cooper Flagg. Let's get out of here. That is our national NBA insider, Mark Stein. That is our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Curl. I am your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We will talk to you tomorrow, second round of the NBA draft. Congratulations, Cooper Flagg. You are a Dallas Maverick. Y'all be good.
See you guys tomorrow night.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.